Hello and welcome to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. I'm your host, Sam Randazzo, and I am joined by my two rather rambunctious co-hosts. To my right, it is the one, the only, Uncle Sam.
Hello.
No good evening tonight?
Hello.
No good evening today?
No.
Okay. And to my left, it's our very own Mr. Zolo, Mike Palazzolo.
Blessed.
And behind the computer with a Santa hat on so we don't all get blinded by that big, shiny, bald head, it is Bruce, the tugboat, Venditti.
Hello.
You're not going to show yourself?
Fine.
Nobody can see your fucking
Merry
head
Christmas.
He likes it black and sugary.
Black and sweet. Speaking of black and sweet, Leon's in the chat already today, so hello.
Shout out to Leon.
Hello.
I got a story to tell you. I was getting ready to leave work, and I had the girls in the car. And normally I make a left, and I head toward Joy Road and make another left.
Well, actually, Leon just came in the chat and said that you avoided him today.
No, because I looked to the left, and I was like, is that asshole Leon standing on the fucking street corner like some kind of homeless person?
Leon, you work in the corner.
And I was like, I don't think it's him. I'm going to go the other way because I like taking the park. So I take the park to go home.
Anyways, so you avoided Leon, is what you're saying.
No, I like taking the park. You remember the park when you were driving 140 miles an hour through there and the DEA agent was following you? That
Yes, I
park.
do remember.
Isn't that a pretty drive?
It's a nice drive. Down
It is. It's
Drive.
very
Do they have all
nice.
the Christmas lights out yet?
Yes, they do.
They do, eh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's called the Wayne County Light Fest.
Well, you're awfully chipper today. This is
The
odd.
Wayne County Light Fest.
How are you doing today? How was your day?
It
How was
good.
your week?
I worked hard. I went home. I put the Christmas lights up, and I came here.
Did you eat anything good today?
Yeah, I had some tostadas. My wife made some tostadas and some homemade minestrone, and it was out of
shit.
sight.
How was
Shit.
that?
The minestrone?
Yeah.
It was fucking good.
It was good.
Real
It was
good.
Good soup, eh?
Yeah.
Zolo, how's your week been so far? Pits, peaks, high points, low points.
It's gotten a lot better
Good.
as time
Good.
has gone on.
How's the game last night?
Game was good. We saw Patrick Kane's debut. It was a nice time. And then we ate. I was just telling Elizabeth, we ate afterwards at this place I've been trying to go to for a couple months now called The Eagle.
Okay.
It's technically a chain, but it's like one of those bougie, like, I wouldn't call it bougie because we eat at Michelin star restaurants typically, but it's one of those chains that's like a Bakersfield type chain, you know.
Got it.
That's in a few cities. It's in like Cleveland. It's in my brother and sister-in-law had it in Cincinnati, in like Louisville and Indiana. So, anyways, it's fried chicken, and it's the best fried chicken I've had in Michigan. It's not the best fried chicken I've ever had, but it's for sure the best fried chicken.
And what is
down
this
here.
called again?
It's called The Eagle. It's on Woodward, like a block south of Martin Luther King Boulevard. It's still technically in like the district area.
Okay.
It's just south of Midtown. You can call it Midtown.
So this was after the game.
This was after the game.
Love it.
Late at night.
Love it.
They had a great bar. They have TVs. It's brand
You know,
new
everything
build out.
tastes great after a game.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
It does,
For sure.
Doesn't matter what you eat or where you're at.
The fried chicken was outstanding.
Yeah.
It's worth the trek for the chicken.
I'd go to, if you said let's go to the Eagle tonight, I'd be like, say less.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Some good chicken.
There's truly no better place to go after a game than Lafayette, Coney Island.
I still love Lafayette.
That's the most basic white answer I've ever heard in my life.
Lafayette,
First of all,
Coney Island?
How does that become a race?
Wait, hold on. The most basic white answer is American, which we don't acknowledge on this show. American doesn't exist. It's
American
not a place.
what?
We
American Coney
don't give a
Island.
fuck
is
about
that?
The
American.
one next door to Lafayette.
Okay.
The
Lafayette
shitty
had
version.
road.
I said, Coney Island, you might as well go to Dailies. You fucking Coney, you go to
Okay,
Dailies.
I
Shout
have
out
a
to
real-
Z. Shout out to Hayes. What up, Hayes? Z, it was good to see you last night.
Speaking about the Coney Island saga,
Grey
I have
Ghost
an
Tank.
extremely unpopular opinion on Coney Island.
Tank, the answer is Grey Ghost.
I think it's a
Coney
cheap version of
Island?
Dailies.
Or
No. National Coney Island is better than both Lafayette and American.
I love National Coney Island's
I
chili.
mean, okay.
I
Chili's
love it.
better. Hot dogs are snappier. I prefer
Whoa.
the fries.
Snappier.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'd rather have National Coney Island over Lafayette and or American any day of the week.
Thank you,
Best
Christina.
hot dog that you're going to buy outside making your own hot dogs? Costco.
Costco's got
They have
good
the best dogs.
But it's not.
They do.
It's also the fact that it's just greasy and it's about the place. It's not about,
Can I tell you guys
Ooh.
something?
The
I don't make hot dogs at home.
okay.
I don't ever do that. I might get one at a ball game. If I'm cooking a cylindrical meat at home, it's gonna be sausage.
Sausage.
Now,
Yeah, and we've already talked about this. It's gonna be kielbasa. If it is like an actual sausage, it's gonna be some sort of cheddar jalapeno
yes.
or something like that. I love unloading at that stand from fucking Amish people in Shed 3 at the Eastern Market.
So I was the same way. I was not like, I'm not going to go get a pack of ballparks and throw them on the grill at home.
Yeah, no fuck no.
But-
That's what the whites do.
I was changed by the Fairway Wagyu hot.
Yeah, the Wagyu hot dog is awesome.
Next
If I'm going to buy a hot dog for a function and feed other people with it, I'm going to Fairway to get the Wagyu hot.
Those are the best fucking hot dogs. Also, I know everybody's so far in the comments on the burger talk, everybody is unanimously Grey Ghost.
Choose your next words wisely.
Costco does have good glizzies.
Costco got great dogs.
I also have an unpopular opinion on the Detroit burger scene. If it was up to me and I had to pick one burger from the Detroit burger scene to eat for the rest of my life, I would take Olin over Grey Ghost.
Some guy over here told me
Olin's-
you know about
Olin's
Snappy Wiener.
I don't like Greg.
Olin's good. And you know what else is good? The Bar Pigal burger.
I haven't had that one yet.
It's good. They still don't touch Grey Ghost, in my opinion.
I see. To me, Olin is a step above. And I went to the Al Cheval in New York and left pleasantly disappointed.
Have you had the El Cheval in Chicago?
I've had the one in Chicago, and that always blew my mind. But the one in New York, I was disappointed by, and I thought, okay, I want it to drip shit, but also I don't do an egg on a burger because I don't do eggs. So the Grey Ghost Al Cheval opinion of the egg on the burger, I can't really speak on. But for a burger without the egg, I prefer the one from Olin because it's constantly jizzing. You know what I mean? It's
Olin?
fabulous.
Olin, by the way,
Who
is
the
one of
fuck
the
is
last.
Dark Human?
Okay, we'll get to that. Just
Okay.
give us a second.
There's a
You
rivalry.
just said about
brewing.
Mike likes to unload on fucking Amish,
Amish
people.
people. Yeah, it's,
Unload what?
we're gonna have a conversation about the lumen cumin thing in a second.
Okay.
What were you gonna say?
True Brunches downtown. One of the last remaining like good upscale brunches downtown is Olin. Olin is an excellent brunch.
So I haven't been for brunch, but for dinner, I've ordered things other than the burger, and it was a miss for me.
George,
I don't
shout
think
out
I've
to you,
ever done
Hazel
a
Ravine
brunch in my
Burger.
entire life. I don't even know what a fucking brunch is.
Breakfast for lunch.
I don't even know what that is, dude.
You have a nice mimosa, a waffle,
I've fucking
hot dog.
You lost me at Mimosa.
You're not a mimosa guy?
No.
I would have never guessed.
You know what I had the
that
other
is.
day?
Okay. What?
First time having it. I don't know if it's like a popular thing, but Slows.
Oh, Slows is fabulous.
It's my new favorite place.
Yeah.
That's the first time you had Slows?
Yeah.
Slows is fabulous.
First time.
You ready
Oh,
for this?
first
You want my unpopular
Talking about the
opinion?
barbecue
You don't like
place,
Slows?
You don't like
Not that I don't like it. It's good, but we just don't have good barbecue around.
No, we don't. That's
No.
that's
And
the
Slows,
best.
Slows is fucking. It doesn't touch like Bad
Nashville.
Brad's.
No, I agree. Bad Brad's is the
Nashville.
best around.
The
hands
best
down.
barbecue I've had in
What's the one in
Michigan.
Royal Oak? Because I thought Bad Brad's was still better than that.
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the name. Bubs. No, that's in Chicago. I know the one you're talking about in Royal Oak with the brisket, and they do everything in the window right in front
Yes,
of you.
yes, yes.
It's off of Main
Lockhart's,
Street.
Lockhart's.
That's
Bad Brad's
good.
still better than
and
Lockhart's
And I'm
to me.
taking the Lockhart's over Slows, but the best barbecue I've ever had in Michigan is the Union Wood Shop in Clarkston,
Haven't been yet.
which is owned by that parent company that owns Vincetta Garage. They own Union Assembly downtown.
And supposedly they're supposed to open a restaurant in that old Chase Bank on Lakeshore. The white one, down by like Rivard and shit.
George, can you confirm this in the chat right now if that's true?
Okay. Outside of everything that we want to eat, let's address the elephant in the room, which is the
Which is me. I'm at 203.
really?
Yeah.
No way, you're 200 club.
Big boy since I got back from California.
We're all in the 200 club now. It's nice. Bruce isn't. Bruce is 155-pound pussy, but
155 pounds, that forehead.
anyways.
160.
So the cumin lumen rivalry that's going on in the chat, just so you're aware. You know who Dark Lumen is, obviously, correct?
No.
In the chat, Dark Lumen has been there every
Yeah, I know who that is.
Okay.
Yes.
That now a light lumen has been surfaced, which I can't confirm or deny who that is.
Okay.
So there's dark lumen, then there's light lumen,
And now it's
and now
cumin.
there's dark cumin. who I
Okay.
cannot confirm or deny that we know who it is. So,
Listen, the only dark person I know on here is Leon, so I don't know what you people are talking
there's a
about.
dark cumin now
Okay.
to obviously a parody on dark lumen, and then a light lumen, which is the anti-dark lumen. So there's a
Okay.
lot going on in the chat, as always. Dan just asked if you were pushing 300 pounds yet. Is that true?
Is who's pushing 300 pounds?
You.
No, I'm not.
Do we have a recent weigh-in?
252 and a quarter.
Wow. Honestly, you're down. You're
No,
down.
I'm not. Actually, I put weight on.
You did?
Yeah. Yeah, I was down for a while, dude. I was about down to 148.
We're at 25 people.
248?
25 people in the
Yeah,
chat.
248.
Holy shit. Hey, shout out to everybody in the chat. Let's party it up on a Friday.
And,
I'm
and
feeling light.
we know a lot of you guys, and thank you. We love all of you. A lot of my people are in here, and it's good to see all of you. And I feel like you're in the room with me.
Speaking of everybody in the chat.
The only peep I know is Leon. Leon, you're my only
No,
peep.
You don't
you
spam
don't
the
know
link
that.
out. Spam it out.
You're
Spam
my
your
Jack,
friends.
hey, Jack's in there. Leon's in there.
I did not see Jack
You know
at
who
all.
Jack's
needs to
in
be
there way up
here?
at the
Your
top.
brother. Your brother needs to
Oh yeah, should we send
Send the link to Uncle Tony.
should we shoot the link to Uncle Tony real quick, see if he gets
Go
in the
ahead.
chat? Here we go.
I don't know what he's doing.
Let's see if we can double down
I'm
on it.
surprised.
He's probably playing Call of Duty.
I want to play. Can I play Call of Duty? You need
Call
to
him up,
sit
play
down.
him, dude. I'm telling
Hold
you.
on. I gotta
You'd be
recopy
surprised,
and paste
dude.
the
You'd be
link now.
surprised.
But we have a new Aladdin
He's
flavor.
out of his mind.
We have a new Aladdin flavor today that broke out of the box. I'd like to announce.
Okay.
Tropsicle.
Tropsicle.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, when
it's
is fucking Aladdin gonna sponsor me? I'm giving them a lot of fucking play here.
I just
Hello?
got to bounce back from Uncle Tony. I'm driving with focus turned on. I'll see your message when I get where I'm going.
That's the oldest
has-
thing I've ever heard.
He has that thing turned on that if you're driving, your phone knows and it sends a text back to whoever's texting you to let them know that you're driving and you can't look at my phone.
Well, he does drive insane, so I would never
True.
take your fucking eyes off the road if I was him.
Dan asks how tall you are and says that he's here for you. You're his people. Dan's been a big fan of yours
Who's
lately.
Dan?
Dan.
I don't know who Dan is.
Dan. How tall are you?
Dan who?
How tall are you?
Who the fuck is Dan?
Dan L. Hosny.
Who
We
is
told
that?
you who Dan is.
We've been through this before.
Dan
Gotta
is
be like 5.
Dan is Harry or Nikki.
Yeah, Harrier and Harrier.
I just know Nikki. I don't
Shorter.
know Dan.
Hey, Dan and Nikki are like synonymous almost.
I only know Nikki.
How tall are you?
I don't know. 5'6", 5'7".
Jack in the chat says that the smegma flavored Aladdin is the best one. Anyways,
Let's do football
Interesting
before the numbers
quote
dwindle.
from him.
yeah, we need to talk about some football here. We had a game last night. Oh, wait. No, we don't have a recap for Thursday Night Football yet, do we? Video thing.
No,
Do we even need to?
absolutely not.
You need to fucking get on this, all right?
Sorry.
Bruce is
Been
so
kinda busy.
Bruce, since the minute Bruce came down here till now, he has gotten so fucking baked.
Are you just noticing that
I
now?
mean, no, but literally, we got down here 15 minutes ago.
Listen, the only reason why he's dipped out here so he could go
I
get
don't
baked.
smoke anymore.
He had
Anyway,
a rough day.
When I
Anyways.
take one rib, it does it to me. My tolerance is down.
okay. Let's recap Thursday Night Football. Then we're going to go into our weekend picks, as always. And then we're going to finish off the day with the playoff machine. And then we're going to let Uncle Sam go home. And everybody will go on their merry way. So, first up, I would like to own this right now so we can get it out of the way. I called everyone here stupid for taking New England last night. I insulted Uncle Sam greatly after he took New England. And ultimately, I am the biggest asshole of the day. And I am willing to own that because somehow the New England Patriots beat Pittsburgh last night. Bailey Zappi had a very nice game. Mitch Trubisky is what we thought he was. And somehow the New England Patriots offense that hasn't scored a touchdown.
Hey, without their fucking top 3 receivers.
Without their top 3 receivers, without their starting running back, scored 21 points last night for the first time since Vietnam. So,
3 touchdown passes from Bailey Zappi.
Bailey Zappi's stat line, 19 for 28, 243 touchdowns and a pick. Mitch Trubisky, 22 for 35, 190 yards, a touchdown and a pick. He also ran for 30 yards and a touchdown on his own. nobody could get the Pittsburgh just could not get the running game going whatsoever last night. Najee Harris had 12 rushes for 29 yards. That's 2.5 yards per carry. And the prodigy Jaylen Warren 7 for 11 on the ground. He did have 30 yards receiving through the air, and Najee had 19 respectively. Zeke Elliott came out from the dead last night. He was 22 for 68 on the ground. He also had 72 yards and a touchdown through the air. Hunter Henry with a big night, 3 for 40. 2 of those receptions were touchdown receptions.
Hunter Henry anytime.
And Zolo did say the Hunter Henry.
He called that.
Your anytime was Devontae Parker.
Parker, I didn't know he was out.
All in all, what did you see in this game? Because there were Pittsburgh fans calling for Mike Tomlin's job today.
That didn't surprise me.
It was that bad.
No, you want to know why? Here, let's put it in perspective for real. Basically, without Pickett, they're even fucking worse than we thought they were.
No, they're still just bad in general.
Am I wrong on that?
I think with Pickett,
Even
be bad.
with Pickett, they weren't that good, but
Yeah.
they should have been good enough to win that game yesterday.
I think the yield last night with Pickett is the same. I thought the Patriots came out hot, and they like I said, they're going to be prepared. And what Bill Belichick does defensively, it's like when Matt Patricia came here, they go, what kind of defense are you going to run? Back when that was a thing, the 3-4 versus 4-3 thing. Now most people adapt to what the Patriots do. But Matt Patricia's like, we don't do that. We're going to take away what you do well. And that's Bill Belichick's moniker is we don't run that kind of defense.
Right.
And some days we're going to rush 4. Some days we're going to rush 3. And when you're playing an offense that does nothing well, you're not going to have a hard time.
Not that hard.
It's not that hard. So all they needed to do was execute offensively. They had a great game plan offensively. Bailey Zappi was tossing the ball around perfectly. It was great. We're on 2 games in a row from Zeke that are pretty solid. And that's your recipe to beat the Steelers. That's why I think they're not going to be too deep into the division argument or too deep into the wild card argument.
Shit at me right now? Is that slinging shit at me right now?
Jack did say, Sal, your guy, Jaylen Warren.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that was because that was, Bijan for Jaylen.
Guess what? Nobody showed up yesterday. He wasn't the only one.
Anyways, so now we need to kind of break some of this down. Obviously, New England's out of the playoff picture at 3-10. I mean, not completely eliminated.
They can just, you know what? They could throw monkey wrenches into everything.
But here's the thing, they have the second overall pick right now still.
They're not going to throw monkey wrenches. They played the Steelers are bad. They played a bad team. And
Who they play this week coming?
The Steelers?
No, he's talking about the Patriots. He's going to make some fucking
Who
wild
Tell me.
accusation.
I don't know.
Kansas City at Gillette.
This week?
Well, it was Thursday night game, so next week.
So how many has Kansas City lost in a row? 2?
Well, no, they've lost 2 in a row. No.
2 in a row?
No.
They
play Buffalo this week. They lost last week and they play Buffalo this week.
Didn't they lose to Philly before that though?
Yes.
Then the bye was in between. Hold on.
Right.
They lost they lost to Philly, beat Vegas, lost to Green Bay.
There you go.
Oh.
And they play Buffalo this week and then they're at New England.
Philly.
Okay.
So no, I don't think New England's going to beat Kansas City. But this is
at Gillette?
Yeah, no, I don't give a fuck. If you have the balls to take that, then my friend, you have testicles the actual size of church bells.
Dun, 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 dun.
This is the thing, though, that we need to talk about here. Because the relevant team in this game was Pittsburgh, and that was an awful loss, and one that they desperately needed with...
Yeah, to stay in with...
Can you pull out the Steelers schedule?
Yes, God, you read my mind.
I have a question on the Steelers schedule.
Yes.
Do they play any more of those AFC South teams?
Yes, they do.
Texans, Colts, Jags.
Next week, they're at Indianapolis.
Loss.
Then they're at home against Cincinnati.
On paper, that's a loss right now, but they could beat the Bengals.
At Seattle on New Year's Eve.
Loss.
At Baltimore to finish the year.
Loss.
So that would have Pittsburgh losing 6 straight to end.
How many wins are they at?
They're 7-6 now.
So I said before the year I had Pittsburgh in the playoffs, and I said they were going to win at least 9 games. To do that, they'd have to win 2 of these next 4. 2 of those 4.
Realistically, they'd have to win. They'd have to beat Cincinnati for sure, and then beat either Indy or Seattle.
I don't think they'll win 1 of those 4. I don't think they're winning 2 of those 4. That's my take right now.
I would have to agree with you. I think they The only game that I see them winning is that Cincinnati game. But again, Mike Tomlin never been under 500, never had a losing season. And he needs to win at least 2 more of these games to keep that going.
So at what point do you say, okay, Mike Tomlin, well, your quarterback is hurt, so we're going to give you a pass?
They need a new quarterback.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
They need a quarterback, and they need a solid offensive coordinator.
You don't think Tomlin knows that?
Yeah.
I'm truly at the point now where I don't think it matters if you have Trubisky and or Kenny Pickett.
Well, it's real simple. What you do is you draft a guy this year. I guess you let Pickett take the reins till he's ready, and then replace him, and put Mitch Trubisky where he should be in the stand selling fucking hot dogs.
Yeah. Insurance.
Yeah, hot dogs and peanuts.
So, do we need to waste any more time on this game?
No.
Perfect.
God, no.
I don't know. I mean, what did you think of it?
I thought it was dog shit all the way around.
You want to know what I think of it?
I
The
think-
game last night?
It was
I
a
think we-
meaningless win for New England.
I
and
think we
it
don't need
meant-
to talk about it.
It meant everything to lose that game for Pittsburgh, truly.
Okay.
And I think both the Pittsburgh quarterbacks are awful. I think both the Pittsburgh running backs are subpar. I think Pittsburgh's defense has been overrated to this point. And
Overrated?
well, yeah, I mean, they let Bailey Zappi come in and stomp 21 on him with Hunter Henry and Zeke Elliott, the ghost of Zeke Elliott. Anyways, he's reading the chat now as I'm talking to him.
No, I'm listening to you.
No, let's move on and get into the fucking picks, Bruce.
He looks like he's falling asleep over there.
They both are. They're both sitting here rubbing their.
I need a haircut.
Throw your beer, dude. Don't say it anymore.
Mine gets,
What?
Added.
mine doesn't connect right here. So
It'll
it just
connect.
looks,
You
it just
gotta
looks like it's
stop
connect. 'Cause
fucking shaving it.
it looks like it
Let it
connects
grow.
because it's long right now. But it doesn't connect, and I just don't look good right
Listen,
now.
I had my nice little chin beard going, and I just grew it all in. I stopped shaving it. Just let it grow.
You either let it go. Just let it go.
That's it. That's it.
Bruce, where's your beard?
Let it go.
Where's your fucking beard?
Can't
Bruce?
grow a beard.
Anyways, let's start off the week with a very nice, wholesome.
Divisional game.
What are you doing?
He's falling
What are you doing? I'm waiting here. I'm waiting for you.
What?
We're going to start out the week with a nice
What? Divisional game?
divisional fucking
okay.
game. Thank you. Anyways, one that has the weight of the world on his shoulders. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are heading to Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia to play the Falcons. Currently, the Falcons are 6-6 and first in the NFC South. Tampa at 5-7 is only one game behind, hot on their tracks. Atlanta goes into this one as a 2-point favorite. The over-under is 41, and I'm going to say it again. I am going to take the Atlanta Falcons -2. They're going to win this game convincingly. Arthur Smith is starting to right the ship. I don't mind Desmond Ridder this week. I think that they're running the ball semi-efficiently in their last 2 games. And I think they continue to do the same. And they beat Tampa, who they've already beaten once this year. And they set themselves firmly apart in this division. And Tampa slowly falls into the abyss that they deserve to be in. Whoever would like to go next can very gladly go.
Going with Tampa. Going with Tampa.
Is that a sword you have to die on, or do you actually think?
No,
they'll
if they
this
win
game?
2 in a row, I'll pick Atlanta.
Atlanta has won 2 in a row.
The sword.
No. 2 real ones in a row. Not the
Oh,
the
man.
3rd and 4th string quarterbacks from the Jets.
I
Listen,
agree. I'm taking Tampa.
When you're an Atlanta
And the
Falcons,
over.
when you're rooting for the Atlanta Falcons, you got to take anything you can get.
I'm taking Tampa and the over.
The sad thing is, I genuinely do believe that there's a team in there because their defense is so serviceable and there's enough weapons on the offense that could overpower the shitty quarterback play. I just think when you couple atrocious quarterback play with atrocious play calling, that there's a recipe for disaster every week. And
agree.
I just don't. Give me 2 good ones in a row, and I don't consider last week a good one. Who'd they beat 2 weeks ago? Who did Atlanta beat 2 weeks ago?
The Atlanta Falcons 2 weeks. So they beat the Jets last week in a fucking barn burner of a
13-8.
game. 13-8. And then the week before that, they beat the Saints 24-15.
Now that's not a bad win. The Saints win.
That's not a bad win. They came out of the bye hot.
If you beat Tampa, it's in Tampa, right?
It is no, it's in Atlanta.
Oh, hey,
I'm still taking Tampa. I don't care.
yeah, I'm taking Tampa, but at some point something's got to give in this division. Something has to give. Is Atlanta 6-6 or 7-6? 6-6.
Atlanta's
6-6.
6-6.
6-6.
Tampa's 5-7.
At some point, something's got to give in the division. Atlanta has the edge just based on
If
their
Atlanta
record.
wins this week,
They could run away with it.
They could run away.
At 7-10. They could run away with the
right.
division.
That's the thing. This is a monster game for them.
Crazy.
It really is. I just listen. I've said it all year. Atlanta's a team of destiny. Arthur Smith is a coach of destiny. Desmond Ridder, quarterback of destiny.
Oh God.
They've got to win this division. And then you want to know something? You want to know what's fucked up? Because our take on this show all year has been the Cowboys are going to get bounced in the first round. If Atlanta wins the division, they have to play Dallas in the first round. That's a surefire way to get Mike McCarthy into the next round of the playoffs.
It's also a surefire way to get them fired if they play them and beat them.
That's
Yeah.
true.
And
Now,
I will be an Atlanta Falcon fan that week.
hypothetically, if Dallas played Atlanta right now, what would that line be? Dallas by 10?
11 and a half.
11 and a half. Yeah, I mean, Jesus. And that's what we're going to get is in the first round of the playoffs. That's going to be fucked up. Next up, the Indianapolis Colts, who are right in the mix, not only for a wild card spot, but for to be AFC South champions. Indeed, in the thick of it, are heading to Cincinnati to play Jake Browning and the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati is a 2-point favorite going into this game, which I'm shocked by. Cincinnati at 6-6
It makes sense.
is at the bottom of the AFC North. Indianapolis tied for second with Houston in the AFC South. Over-under is 44, and Cincinnati, again, is a 2-point favorite.
Is Jonathan Taylor playing in this
No,
game?
he's not.
Jonathan Taylor has been ruled out.
All right. I'll give you mine right now. I'm taking Cincinnati to win this game.
I like Cincinnati too.
Yeah.
First things
I would
first.
take the under.
First things first, I love the Colts, but I just like Cincinnati because that game plan that they did to Jacksonville will work perfectly against the Colts.
Yeah.
We're going to control the tempo. We're going to pound the ball down your throats, and we're going to control the pace of the game. And if you have Gardner Minshew playing gunslinger from behind, that's just a bad recipe.
That's a recipe for disaster.
Still love the Colts. They totally got a shot in this game. This is a pick 'em in my opinion. I'm picking Cincinnati at home.
Okay. I am too. I'm taking the under.
I'm taking the over, and I also like the Bengals to cover that. What you said, -2?
-2.
I like the Bengals to win this by a field goal.
I'm going to also take Cincinnati to win this game by a field goal, and I'm going to take the over in this game as well. I think you're going to have a lot of points put up. I think realistically, Cincinnati does end up winning this game, like Zola said, by a field goal. But for me, this is one of the tougher ones to pick here because we're using the sample size of Cincinnati realistically of one game against Indianapolis's 13 games so far. And I, too, like Indianapolis. Part of me is hopeful that Cincinnati pulls this off because I want to see Houston succeed. So I'm going to pick Cincinnati -2 and the over.
Real quick, Uncle Sam, Angie wants to know if you know Candace.
Who?
Do you know Candace?
Who's that?
We'll wait for Angie to tell you who Candace is.
I don't know who Candace is.
All right, we'll get back to that because
I
there's a
don't
little
know
bit of a delay.
Candace.
Anyways,
I know there's a bit of a delay. We'll let you know in a second who Candace is.
should we start the next game or should we wait to know who Candace is?
We'll wait because he can't even see that far, anyways.
You don't think so?
I know so because I'm closer than he is, and I can't see that far, so I don't think
Can't?
he can see that far.
Okay. I don't know if Angie knows that he's on his account or if he's
On Dark Lumen.
yeah, I mean at this point we don't know who's who in the chat. So
No, because he's been playing Fortnite before. And
What do you-
Dark Lumen's been in here.
well no, Angie's most definitely not Dark Lumen.
Oh.
Do we know that though?
Yes, because we know who Angie is. I'm not at liberty to say at this point in time, but we know. All the cards are falling into place. Anyways, let's move on.
Oh, yeah, Angie's definitely one of them.
The Jacksonville Jaguars, currently first place in the AFC South, are heading to Cleveland to play the Browns. Cleveland a 3-point favorite in this game. They will be without Christian Kirk for sure. Trevor Lawrence, game time decision. Vegas must not think Lawrence is playing because Cleveland is a 3-point favorite in this game, and the over-under is only 33.5.
I'm going to take Cleveland in the over.
Why?
Hey,
that is the
taking Cleveland. Fuck nut.
why.
Okay. Why? Because if Trevor Lawrence,
Can I wait? Hold on. Can I point
hint
before
banged up?
before you solidify
Okay.
this pick? Kevin Stefanski has not named a starting quarterback yet between Joe Flacco and Dorian Thompson.
I think that's
fuck
an
you,
indicator.
dude.
I think that's an indicator.
that
that
it's
is-
going to be DTR.
No, that is Joe Flacco.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be Flacco.
Flacco, he played
hey,
well enough
Don't
last
tell me
week.
you didn't like what you seen out of him last
He
week.
played
I
well enough
loved what I
last
seen
week.
out of him last
He
week.
played well.
He was
Either
funny.
way, this is a tough game to pick in the worst way possible, similar to the last game, but in a bad way. And here we go, another game with two backup quarterbacks again. I just think that I trust Cleveland a little bit more with a backup
Right.
quarterback.
And just running the football. I got a feeling that Ford kid and the other guy are going to have a big game.
Same reason why I like Cincinnati is why
Yeah.
I like Cleveland. I think they have a chance to just dominate the tempo of the game.
Yep.
And I don't think Jacksonville is capable of doing that. Jacksonville reminds me of Lions AFC. They're just ahead of schedule right now, and they're in a down division. So everyone was high on them this year, but they're kind of plateauing right now, and they're certainly going to plateau without their quarterback. And I just think that Cleveland's defense is not going to be bad in back-to-back weeks. Myles Garrett is healthier. They're at home. You're taking a team from the South and bringing them up north, right? It's in Cleveland, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, and Flacco thrives in that AFC North environment.
And especially if Lawrence isn't playing. I mean,
I'm going to take Jacksonville regardless if Trevor
Okay.
Lawrence plays or we get C.J. Beathard. I know Christian Kirk is out. I know Travis Etienne is banged up. I didn't like it. I don't. For me, Cleveland is very quick. Trajectory-wise, how far off is Cleveland from Pittsburgh right now?
I actually think Cleveland's better
No,
than
I think Cleveland's ahead of the curve over
See,
Pittsburgh.
I don't think they are.
They
I do.
mustered points.
I do
last
because
week.
offensively, at least they can still run the football.
You do know that Amari Cooper is still in concussion protocol.
I get that, but they can still run the football.
I'm with him. They have the identity that Pittsburgh doesn't have. And you know who else doesn't have an identity offensively?
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
I know.
You know who was bad against a backup quarterback, or they had a backup quarterback in the game on Monday night? Was Jacksonville. So I just love the continuity. If it's Joe Flacco or if it's DTR, I love the continuity against Jacksonville's defense at home. I love that concept.
But I think Cleveland's going to end up doing Cleveland things here, and I think that Jacksonville, it's going to be the ETN show. I think this game, even at 33.5 points, it'll hit the under, and I'm going to take Jacksonville to cover, win, and the under in this game. Next up, we have yet another.
Divisional game.
The Carolina Panthers, sitting at 1-11, are heading to the Superdome, luckily for New Orleans, to play the Saints. The Saints are at 5-7. The Saints don't know who's playing quarterback. The Saints are,
Derek Carr was a full participant today, though.
but what does that mean?
Nothing.
That doesn't mean anything.
Well, he doesn't have a concussion.
Well, he got booed off the field all week last.
Right. He's got a bad shoulder, a bad neck. What else?
A bad bussy.
I don't know.
His neck, his back, his Netflix, and
And I will say this once again about him. I don't like what they do there. I don't like that shit with the Taysom Hill package and this and that. I think it's just a big gimmick bullshit.
Can I read you their injury report?
Sure.
Chris Olave, questionable flu. Rashid Shaheed, questionable thigh. Taysom Hill, questionable foot. Derek Carr, questionable concussion in ribs. Juwan Johnson, questionable triceps. Cameron Jordan, questionable. The whole fucking team is hurt. All right? We have said this time and time again, that Carolina at some point has to get a second win. right? I, too, agree with Dark Lumen that Derek Carr is petrified dog shit. He's not wanted there. He's not playing good football when he is on the field. I think the Taysom Hill thing, much like Uncle Sam does, is cute and gimmicky, but it's not effective long term.
I just don't think any of these guys can get into a fucking rhythm.
Right.
I don't like it. I don't like when they do it. I think it's stupid. You want to have them come in and play tight end and run little gimmick plays off of that? Go ahead. But the guy needs to stay in there in the fucking game. He comes out for 3 or 4 snaps and loses whatever momentum he had.
Zolo has said all year when he goes on when we talk about the no offensive identity thing.
Yes.
New Orleans is probably the biggest victim of no offensive identity. And I just feel like right now everything's in such disarray there that Carolina has a really good chance to win this game. I'm going to take Carolina to not only cover but to win, and I'm going to take the under.
I think you're very much onto something there. Very much. I'm still going to take the Saints, but for everything you just named, everything you just said, I'm taking the Saints. Or I think I could. Excuse me. I'm all discombobulated. Everything you just gave is a reason why the Panthers could and should win. I just think that the Saints were a lot better than they showed last week, and this division's wide open, and they know that they have to have this game. This is one of those fireable games.
This is a fireable
offense game.
Yeah.
But I still liked what I saw out of New Orleans last week, and I don't think that the Panthers are the team that are going to be able to stop it. Can totally see the Panthers pulling this one out, though. It makes total sense. Everything's in disarray in New Orleans, and the Panthers gave enough of a good performance last week that they're going to have a shot. So I think the Panthers are going to be into this. What's the spread?
New Orleans is a 6-point favorite.
Oh, Panthers to cover that for sure.
I'll take New Orleans.
Panthers to cover that. New Orleans outright. And I'm going to go with the over on this one.
Ooh.
I'm taking New Orleans and the over.
You guys have picked identically today. Besides your over on.
Someone's going to be right because you're opposite of us on most.
And I don't
on anything.
You want to know what's? I picked Cincinnati, but you want to know what's? We were never like this up until now. Dude, the first like 6 or 7 weeks of the year, we were pretty much all in lockstep. Besides, you'd come out with your fucking New England flyer, but
I was right.
If you throw 100 piles of shit at the wall, eventually one's
got to stick.
Next up, the Houston Texans are heading to MetLife Stadium to play Zach Wilson in the New York Jets. Robert Saleh has said that Zach Wilson will be the starter this week. He's back after there was a lot of speculation earlier in the week that he no longer wanted to play there and that they needed to figure something out after they cut Tim Boyle. Aaron Rodgers went on the Pat McAfee show and debunked most of that and essentially said everybody in New York media is full of shit and they should all fuck off. And Zach Wilson is a great kid who he loves and has a lot of respect for. So I saw that little
That's
smirk.
saying a lot.
I saw that little smirk on Uncle Sam's face when I said the words Aaron Rodgers. And for some reason, that side of the desk slightly lifted up. But we can talk about that another time. Houston is a 3.5-point favorite going into this game. The over-under, 33. Quick thing, injury-wise. Obviously, Tank Dell out for the year. Dalton Schultz has a hamstring injury going into this game. He is a game-time decision. Noah Brown, the other wide receiver for Houston, questionable with a knee injury going into this game. Uncle
he
Sam,
didn't play last week.
how do you feel about this game going into it?
And is that MetLife?
It's at MetLife. So it's pretty much a guarantee that somebody else will get hurt in this game. Every time there's a game at MetLife Stadium, somebody goes out for the year.
No Rodgers yet.
Everyone's dead. Everyone's
about
already
3
dead
weeks
for both
away.
these teams.
Fuck.
Brees Hill is also very questionable going into this.
Brees Hall?
Brees Hall,
Questionable?
yes.
I think it's going to be a good bounce back performance from the Jets. I think they're going to rebound very nicely because Zach Wilson tends to play scorned afterwards. But I think the Texans win this one.
Yeah, it's too much. It's too much Stroud.
Yeah.
Too much Stroud.
Well, Jets defense was once a recipe for too much X. I just think that the counter is the Texans defense is good enough to keep Zach Wilson in check low scoring. It's outdoors, shit turf.
They really put one on last week.
Yeah.
Their defense really fucking shined last week.
Give me the Texans to win, the Texans to cover, and give me the under. Sorry, go ahead. I cut you off there.
What is the spread again?
Houston is a 3.5-point favorite.
Fuck. You know what? I'm gonna take the Jets in the 3.
But who about outright?
Taking the Jets.
Jets.
Taking the Jets in the under.
I'm taking Houston to cover, Houston to win, and I'm taking the over in this game.
Okay.
Houston should hit that 33-point over by themselves. I really don't give a shit who they have out there. It's going to be the Nico Collins show, and maybe Dameon Pierce will have more than 50 yards rushing.
Okay.
Listen to me. This is the nail in the coffin game, in my opinion, for the Jets, because Amu Bob doesn't know what to do at this point, so he just keeps shuffling motherfuckers around, hoping something will work, and it hasn't thus far.
That's not good. But we'll
Zach
see what
Wilson-
happens. Maybe they'll be inspired
Zach
now.
Wilson might cry this week. You might see him on the
you know
sideline
what?
cry.
You know what I'm banking on right now is that these guys are going to rally behind him.
No, listen to me. Houston is going to fucking curb
They
them.
didn't rally behind TB12.
No, they didn't. They didn't give a shit. Because you want to know why? Everybody in that Jets organization right now is checked out. I'll be honest. They're not playing with nearly the same amount of tenacity as they were before. I think they lose this week, and I think they lose bad. I don't think Zach Wilson gives a fuck if he wins or loses anymore. Like, if we're being real.
Maybe that's what needs to happen.
There had to be some truth. I get it. They might have leaked it. It should have never made it out. But there had to be some truth behind that whole Zach says he doesn't want to play here anymore thing. Too much noise. I think Houston destroys this Jets team this week. Next up, the Los Angeles Rams, who are currently second place in the NFC West and are 500 at 6-6, are heading to Baltimore to play the Ravens, who are currently first in the AFC North at 9-3. Baltimore is a 7.5-point favorite in this game, over under 40. For the Rams.
Did the Raiders lose last week?
Did the Raiders lose
Are we
last?
talking about the Raiders?
No, I said the Rams.
Oh, the Rams. Okay. I thought you said the Raiders.
Mitch, are you okay over there?
No, I thought you said the Raiders were playing Baltimore.
Dan, earlier in the chat, Dan was suggesting Holmes that we could put you in if we needed to. You good right now? The Rams are heading to Baltimore, not the Raiders. The Rams.
That's your home. It's your mom.
Tyler Higbee doubtful going into this game for the Rams. Puka Nacua was questionable all week, came off the injury report today, as did Cooper Kupp. Ravens are coming off of their bye. Does any of this lead you to believe that we could have any sort of upset on the horizon here?
Rams
I know
had a
you're
big
big
game
on the
last week,
Rams.
no?
right
Who
now.
Yeah, they're
last
rolling.
week?
They're
You're
rolling.
big on the Rams right
Did
now.
the Rams lose last week or they win?
Oh, no, the Rams won. Remember, the Rams came back late against Cleveland, beat the piss out of them 36-19, but it was like 20-19, and then everything just fell apart for Cleveland right at the end there. Baltimore coming off the bye.
I'll tell you what. You know what is it again?
Baltimore is a 7.5-point favorite.
No, I'm taking the Rams in this.
To win,
the
to
Rams.
cover.
I'm gonna take the Rams to win in the over.
Oh, Jesus. There it is.
I like the Rams to cover that in the back door, like towards the end of a game. That's a big number, 7.5, the way Baltimore's playing. But Baltimore's completely healthy, and it's in Baltimore, and they've been deadly in Baltimore all
You know
year.
what? They're coming off a bye, and every team I've seen come off of buys this year is just.
John Harbaugh's solid coming.
That's just me or no?
No, you've been right.
Every team that's come off a
been right.
bye this year has been dog shit.
I like the Ravens and I like the over, but give me the Rams to and the back door towards in the fourth quarter of that game. I think the Rams end up covering that 7.5.
Give me Baltimore to win, Baltimore to cover, and the over. I think Baltimore comes out this week. Kansas City has been down. I wouldn't want to say bad, but obviously hasn't looked all that strong thus far. Obviously, Cincinnati is pretty much out of it. Buffalo is pretty much out of it. And realistically, the only elite competition that Baltimore has right now in the AFC is Miami. And I think that they really want to put an exclamation point on this and solidify themselves and say that The road to the Super Bowl in the AFC is going to go through Baltimore. I think they do that this week, and they put the Rams back in their place and win this one big. Why are you squinting at me?
Sorry?
You're squinting at me.
Fucking squinting at you.
You gave me one of these.
I didn't say anything. Just listen to what you were saying.
Sam, I'm on your tail.
What do you mean you're on my tail?
Trying to do the weeks right now, and I'm catching you.
Anyways. Next
Who's
up.
number one, though?
Who's in first right now?
Sam.
It's me.
Oh.
Next up, the Minnesota Vikings are heading to Las Vegas to play the Raiders. Minnesota and Joshua Dobbs, a 3-point favorite in this game. Over under 40.5. Uncle Sam.
You said Minnesota's a 3-point favorite?
Minnesota is a 3-point favorite. Minnesota's 6-6 and second in our NFC North. The Raiders 5-7, last in the West.
The Raiders.
The Raiders.
Take the Raiders in this.
You're gonna take who?
I'm taking the Raiders.
Who?
The Raiders.
There it is. The Raiders.
I'm going to take the Raiders, and I'm taking the over.
Minnesota is coming off of their bye, and this game is in Las Vegas.
Okay. Taking the Raiders and the over.
I'm going to take the Raiders in the over. I'm going to take Las Vegas to win, Las Vegas to cover, and I'm going to take the over. Okay. I think the wheels are going to start to come off this Minnesota thing, and Green Bay is going to take their spot, and they're slowly going to fall into the abyss. Zolo.
Yeah, same Joe. Raiders.
Wow.
I actually do like the over.
Ooh.
And I like the Raiders to cover. I think things are trending in the wrong direction for Minnesota, even though Justin Jefferson comes back this week. I like the Raiders at home. They got some good juju going with them right now. And Max Crosby went on stumping for Antonio Pierce this week, and he really wants all the proper people to get retained. And I think the rest of the locker room is going to back him up. So I like the Raiders.
So now that all three of us took them, it's pretty much a guarantee that Minnesota will win by about 21. Next up, we have
Divisional game.
The Seattle Seahawks are heading to Levi Stadium to play the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers are a 12.5-point favorite in this game. The over-under is 46.5 points.
How's the injury report?
I will tell you right
Anybody
now.
significant on there?
Seattle picked up a quarterback today. I can't remember who. Sean Mannion, if I remember correctly. Seattle picked up a quarterback today, which is a bad indicator for Geno Smith. Do you know Geno Smith's Italian?
Geno Smith, questionable, groin. Jamal Adams, questionable, knee. Leonard Williams, questionable, ankle. Zach Charbonnet, questionable, knee. Jordy Brooks, questionable, ankle. Kenneth Walker, questionable, oblique.
He's still out with that oblique?
He hasn't played.
Fuck.
As far as the 49ers go, Ray McLeod has a rib injury. Elijah Mitchell's a little banged up with the knee. Well, I'll start it off then. I'm going to take San Francisco to win, San Francisco to cover the 12.5, and I'm going to take the over in this game. I think that San Francisco is going to run away with this, blow the doors off of Seattle, and we'll know where Seattle stands as far as the pecking order in this division, and San Francisco begins to run away with it completely. Christian McCaffrey, anytime touchdown
Charbonnet
scorer.
and Walker are not playing.
No, they're not playing. They're both questionable.
My guess
Both
is
banged up.
Charbonnet plays and Walker doesn't. That's
Same.
my
If
that's
I was
my
a
guess.
betting man, I would say the same thing. If you'd like, hold on.
You said Leonard Williams was questionable?
Hold on. I'm going to pull up their depth chart right now so I can get a better idea of this.
You got DJ Dallas.
DJ Dallas and Kenny McIntosh.
Okay. Former Georgia back.
If Leonard Williams doesn't play, I've never heard any.
I'm not worried about their defensive line.
And either way, I'm taking San Francisco, win, cover, over.
As a proud Leonard Williams owner, he's not on the injury report, I thought.
He's not, eh?
Yeah, he doesn't even have a tag on him.
Oh.
Does
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to take San Francisco to win, but I think Seattle's going to cover this.
It's a huge number.
Yeah, it's a huge number, and I think Seattle will cover this.
So, I don't like huge numbers in divisional games, but the Niners, it's hard to pick against them in any situation right now, and it's certainly hard to pick against them at Levi's Stadium. And if the Niners are half as good as they were last week, and there could be a hangover, but I don't think there's going to be because of what Seattle did in Dallas. I think the Niners are going to get up for this game and take it seriously. Can totally see Seattle covering the 12.5, but I'm still going to take the Niners. I'm going to take the Niners to cover, and I'm going to take the over in that one as well.
Are you going to make a pick here?
I already did.
Who'd you take?
I took the Niners. I took Seattle to cover.
That's such a cop-out.
Whatever.
You don't think that Frisco's going to beat Seattle by 2 touchdowns?
No.
Wow. Interesting. I mean, they beat
I think the game would be closer than everybody thinks. To be
they
honest.
beat Philadelphia by 2 touchdowns.
Listen, the scumbag Pete Carroll will come in there and he'll put something in the coffee and everybody will bow down to him.
Put what in the coffee? Some laxatives in San Francisco's coffee?
Fucking Viagra, who knows?
Leon said he thought we were going to pick Seattle. Do you have any thoughts on that?
He really said what?
He said that he thought you were going to pick Seattle.
I just picked them to cover.
Yeah, he
They're
thought
not
you were
going to
pick
win.
them.
I don't think they're going to win, no.
All right. This one is going to be, I think this is going to be an interesting one. It's 4:25, live from Arrowhead Stadium. The Buffalo Bills at 6-6 and second in the AFC East are going to Kansas City to play the Chiefs, who are 8-4, coming off of a loss to the Green Bay Packers, first in the AFC West. Kansas City, a 1-point favorite in this game. The over-under is 48.5 points. Zolo, what do you think?
I now have invested interest in the Bills, don't I?
Yes, you do. Would you like me to start? I can start if you guys want.
I'm going to start with the over.
Yeah, I'm going to take the over as well.
I'm going to start with the over.
Are you taking over or under?
Over.
Okay.
And
We're all in agreement.
And I'm going to second the over with the Bills covering the 8.5.
It's 1.
Oh, I'm sorry. Where did
Kansas City is a 1-point favorite.
1-point favorite. They were looking pretty good before the bye, Buffalo was, even though it was the Jets and then the loss. I think they had a loss as well. Didn't they lose?
They lost Philadelphia.
Lost to
In
Philadelphia.
overtime.
The Bills, one of their main problems all year is they just haven't been healthy, and I think that this extra week is going to help them. I think this extra week of Joe Brady as their offensive coordinator is going to help them with install and implementing. And the Chiefs just look so human right now, including at Arrowhead.
For the record, injury reports, Drew Tranquil is out for the Chiefs. Obviously, Nick Bolton's still on IR. Donovan Smith is out, as is Isaiah Pacheco.
Remember how I've talked about all year how you don't want to. There's 2 quarterbacks in the league that I'm totally okay with playing from behind, and one of them is not Josh Allen. I feel like if in this climate today, right now, the way things have gone for the Chiefs, we've watched them lose these track meets. We've literally watched Mahomes lose the track meets. We've literally watched him lose with the ball in his hands at the end of games. All of their losses this year, except for Denver. I don't think he had the ball in his hands at the end of the game in Denver that they lost when it was snowing. So for some reason, I just feel that the Bills, this is the shitter get off the pot game for the Bills. This is the game that they need to have if they get into the playoffs, because I think Philly's on the docket too next week, right? Oh, no, they lost to Philly.
They lost to Philadelphia.
Someone else tough is on the docket soon. Baltimore, maybe.
Dallas next week.
This is probably the most winnable of their games. Very reluctantly, I'm taking the Bills. The Chiefs should win this. I just haven't seen enough of this class of receivers from the Chiefs to get it done, and I'm going to go with Buffalo very reluctantly. I promise you I will start picking against Buffalo going forward if they choke this week, but this week I'm picking the Bills.
Uncle Sam.
Oh, shout out to the Yak guys, by the way.
Yeah, shout out to
those.
Nico, Mike. Shout out to you guys.
Shout out to you fucking guys. You're the goods. I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs
Fuck yeah.
because I think Patty Mahomes is the cutest guy in the NFL. And once his cuteness starts, there's no stopping him. And I don't care what anybody says. Roger Goodell's in his back pocket. So I'm going to take the Chiefs. And the over.
Even though Pat Mahomes is indeed the cutest man in the NFL, and even though Andy Reid never loses 2 games in a row, I don't give a shit. I'm going to take Buffalo here, not only to cover, but to win. I'm going to take the over in this game. There it is. There it is, Angie, the Kansas City Chiefs. I am going to take Buffalo to cover, Buffalo to win, and I think that Buffalo doesn't just win this game. I think Buffalo wins this game by double digits, and that's why I'm taking the over. We have not seen...
No.
Huh?
No.
No what?
No.
No what?
The road to the AFC goes
through
Arrowhead.
Baltimore. The road to the
Arrowhead.
AFC goes through Baltimore
Arrowhead.
or Miami. Listen to me, but stop.
They're on a decline, dude. We said
So
this at the beginning of the year.
is Kansas City. It
they're
just
not.
happened faster for Buffalo. All right? Kansas City has lost 3 of their last 5. They lost by 15 points to Denver before Denver was good. They lost to Philadelphia, and then they lost to Green Bay last week in embarrassing fashion. Okay? I'm going to take Buffalo to win by more than 10, and I'm going to take the over. Because this is it. Zolo's right, and Josh Allen knows. It's shit or get off the pot for them. And guess what? Kansas City, when's the last time Kansas City had to sound the panic button? When Alex Smith was there?
They were actually good when Alex Smith was there. I don't know what you're talking about.
Eventually, Kansas City has to go through a time where they sound the panic button. All
Well,
right?
Kansas City was actually good when Alex Smith was there. He got hurt. What was he going to do?
They were good that
He
one
lost
year
his
with Alex
job
Smith.
to injury.
They were good 1 year with Alex.
Actually, they were good
He
2
lost
years.
his job
but-
due to injury.
No, he lost the job due to the fact that Patrick Mahomes is the cutest guy in the NFL.
His contract came up, and they had an investment in Mahomes. That's all it was. I don't think it was injury. That 1 year, Alex Smith went into New England on banner night on opening night and fucking shit pumped the Patriots.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the Patriots. No, they didn't go back to back in that era, did they? Did they go back to back ever?
Yes, they did.
That was the back to. It was either the back to back year or a year after the year they lost to Philly.
So this is the interesting thing about this Kansas. If you want to compare the Kansas City and the Patriots, right? Patriots won those first 3 and then took 10 years off. I think we're getting close to that time where Kansas City is going to take some time off now. I don't think that the road to the Super Bowl goes through Kansas City. I think Kansas City drops this game. And you want to know what? It won't fucking make a difference to them because their next 4 are New England, Las Vegas, Cincinnati, and the Chargers. So they can lose this game and still win fucking 12 games.
They just don't lose 2 in a row very often.
They don't, but they're going to. They're going
I
to
don't
because
see it.
Buffalo needs it more, and Buffalo's coming off the bye, and everything makes sense for Buffalo to win this game with an exclamation point. Next up, at 4:25 p.m., we have the LA Chargers hosting the Denver Broncos at SoFi Stadium. The Chargers 5-7 and 3rd in the AFC West versus the Broncos, who are 6-6 and 2nd in the AFC West. Obviously, Denver left us a little bit confused last week, right? After they lost to Houston. But is anybody feeling positive after the Chargers 6-0 win in New England? Obviously, Vegas is because the Chargers are a 2.5-point favorite in this game. The over-under is 44. Zolo, what do you think?
This is another tough one to pick.
They've all been tough this week. I'm not gonna lie.
This one sucks. I have invested interest in Denver because of the Lions. You know, I have all these emotions towards Denver because of the Lions really need to win that game against the Broncos next week. It's a matter of had we seen enough from Denver to justify that win streak. I don't know if the Chargers are the team that can stop what Denver had going. Emphasis on had. The Chargers just seem so off right now. It just seems bad there.
Brendan Staley came out this week and said that Josh Kelly would be getting more carries and that Austin Eckler's lack of performance has not solidified him into the starting role so far.
That's not good.
I'm very reluctantly, same as with the Bills, same as with the Falcons, if I had picked them, I'm very reluctantly going to pick the Chargers for the last time this year because I was big on Denver. I rode that Denver streak pretty mile high, if you know what I'm saying. But I just don't feel good about what Denver did last week, and for that reason, I'm going to go with the Chargers. I'm going to go with the over because there's some pretty lackluster defenses in this game, and I think the Chargers cover that.
Uncle Sam?
I'm going to take Denver and the under.
Denver and the under.
Denver and the
Do
under.
you care to elaborate?
I just think it'll be a tough divisional game defensively, and I think Denver will pull it out at the end. I trust Russell Wilson more than Herbert.
I'm going to take the LA Chargers to cover, and I'm going to take the over in this game. Denver was never really for real. Denver got hot at the right time. Denver went on a nice win streak. I don't think Denver's defense is going to do much against the Chargers. I'm not all in on them. They looked like dog shit last week. Granted, the Chargers have looked like dog shit every week.
Have they played already yet?
They played a tough game.
Did they
against
play in
Houston.
Denver yet? Or is that return happening later on in the year? I can't remember. I'm sorry.
No, they play in Denver on New Year's Eve.
Okay, so this is one of the few games when the Chargers get in one of those fucking shootouts like they always get in. This is one of the few games that actually favors Justin Herbert if they get into a shootout.
Uncle Tony has officially entered the chat. Shout out to Uncle Tony. He said, "You do go under, you sweet bearded bear, you." So I think we can figure out who he's talking about there as you pick the under.
What the fuck does that mean?
Shout out to Uncle Tony. Good to meet you.
Shout out to Uncle Tony. He said that you were a sweet bearded bear. A bear is a large homosexual man who resembles a grizzly bear who loves smaller homosexual men. So shout out to our very own bearded bear.
Uncle Tony, when you want this seat next to your nephew and your brother, you just let me know. I'll gladly give up the seat if you want it. You just tell me.
And I'm taking the over in this game in case anybody's wondering. This is an over. This game should hit over all day long.
This screams shootout.
Yes, this screams no defense whatsoever. Next up, we're moving on to Sunday Night Football. The Philadelphia Eagles, sitting at 10-2 and first in the NFC East, are headed down to Jerry World, AT&T Stadium in Dallas to play the Cowboys. Cowboys sitting at 9-3, hot on Philadelphia's tail, and second in the NFC East. Dallas is a 3.5-point favorite. Let me say that again. Dallas is a 3.5-point favorite. The over-under in this game is 52. And we're going to throw it to the Bear himself on Bear Force One on his way to Philadelphia to blow Jalen Hurts, Uncle Sam. And give us reasons. When you pick the Eagles, give us reasons.
Taking the Eagles to win this. And I'm taking the under.
Give us reasons.
I just gave you a reason. Taking the Eagles.
Why?
I think the Eagles bounced back this week. They had a really ugly performance last week. I think they're going to come back very hard this week. And hopefully they got some of their linebacker situation under control. The middle of their defense is fucking bad at this point. They need to really solidify themselves.
So you don't see any option here where...
Well, here's the thing. I see Philly being able to move the ball against Dallas because they've already done it. And I feel that they'll take this game and solidify first place in the NFC, period, and continue to move on.
So there's you couldn't... There's no... Leon came in the chat and said that Zolo should keep his seat and that you should get out of here. And
That who should get out of here?
Leon said you should be out of here. And Uncle Tony says that you like poultry. Anyways, you don't think there's any possibility where current favorite to win MVP, Dak Prescott, hands Philadelphia a loss this week? None.
I know. I'm taking the Eagles. I don't know. You guys say what you want.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Well, but see why you got to be like
Fly, Eagles, fly.
why you got to be like that.
Because they're still the best team in the East. I don't know why we're even talking about this right now.
Yeah, but see, are they? Because
What do you
obviously,
mean, are they? Yes,
well,
they are.
I'm not going to lie to you right now. I think Dallas is playing better football than Philadelphia.
We'll see.
Zolo,
They've
what do
already
you think?
beat Dallas once, so
The number is tough. That 52.5 is tough.
that's why I went the under. I don't think it's going to be that.
But you know who keeps getting lit up defensively and who has the 24th ranked total defense and scoring defense simultaneously in the league? It's Philadelphia. And these two came pretty close to hitting that 52 the first time, if I remember correctly. It was a bit of a shootout. First things first, it's hard to pick it, but my initial pick is it's one of those whoever has the ball last type games. I think that's going to be an epic game on Sunday night. I'm very much looking forward to that game. It's hard to pick against the Cowboys right now. That I've ridden the wave and they've delivered every time. So I'm going to pick Dallas. I'm going to pick Dallas to cover, and I'm going to pick the over very reluctantly because that's a huge number for a divisional game. But I just think this has a chance to be a pretty good bloodbath. And I would not be shocked if the Eagles win this. If the Eagles are as good as I think they are, they're not going to lose 2 in a row. It's just this is one team I just can see them losing 2 in a row to. So give me Dallas. Give me the over. Give me Dallas to cover the 3.5.
Wow. All right. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys to win. I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys to cover. I am going to take the under in this game, and I cannot wait. It will truly bring me joy to see Jalen Carter's big fat ass cry on the sideline again this week. I'm excited to see it. I can't wait to see it. I want Nick Sirianni to shove something in his mouth. I'm sick and tired of hearing him. I cannot wait to watch Dak Prescott further his MVP season against the Philadelphia Eagles. So that way, Monday, you guys will all be disappointed because Uncle Sam will come down here and he'll be all this and he'll look angry the entire time, and that's fine. We'll sacrifice Uncle Sam's happiness.
I thought you
for the
guys
Dallas
said
Cowboys.
that Brock Purdy was winning the MVP. Now you're fucking jumping ship. and
Dak
going to
Prescott is playing. Dak Prescott's playing better
Jumping ship,
football
just
right
like
now.
we did,
Three
just
NFC
like we did with
quarterbacks.
New England.
Dak Prescott's playing better football right now today.
Here, you want to do this right now?
Oh, here we go.
The winner of this game probably wins the division, and therefore I think the winning quarterback of this game probably locks down the MVP unless they lose other games down the stretch and Brock Purdy goes undefeated down the stretch. I think the one of these two quarterbacks would be my pick for MVP. Hurts or Prescott.
I still think even if the 49ers go undefeated the rest of the way, I don't think he's the MVP.
You can't deny his numbers at this point.
Yeah, the
There's
numbers
no-
mean the numbers.
The numbers don't mean shit.
The numbers
to
are
me.
where they get the MVP
I mean,
argument.
we
What
all
are
know,
numbers? They don't
we
mean
all know
shit
who's
to
the
me.
best player on that team. I don't know why we're not fucking talking about it.
The best player on what team?
McCaffrey.
On San Francisco?
Yeah,
Well, yeah. I mean,
McCaffrey is. I think he's got a legitimate shot for the MVP.
yeah, but he's not because they don't give it to a running back.
I think you guys are both gonna fucking hate this. I think we're at the point in the season and the point of the ladder for the 49ers that if you take Christian McCaffrey out of the equation, they're gonna win games. I think if you take Brock Purdy out of the equation, they might not win as many games.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
That's fine.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
That's fine.
Sam Darnold could do the same thing.
No, he
he's
can't.
doing.
oh,
We can't.
I don't even want to hear it.
Sam Darnold's proved it
You'll
with
see if he gets hurt.
4
We'll
different
see.
franchises.
You know, could come sooner or later.
well, okay. I saw a comparison the other day. All right. Brock Purdy.
A wide receiver will never win MVP. the only way that Tariq Hill will even come close to winning MVP is if he goes over the 2,000 yard mark, and I mean he has to go well over it.
I think he's gonna do it for the record.
Too many things. Too many. You know, if he does it within the 16 games, I think that's legitimately he's MVP. No,
Who? McCaffrey?
no, Tariq Hill. He has to go over.
Tariq Hill's
2,000.
going to break the 2,000-yard thing. He's on a
Which-
trajectory. to do
I mean, anything could happen at this point. He could get hurt. Anything. If he does it in 16 games, to me, that's a hell of an accomplishment.
He will do it, but they still won't give it to him.
He's
and they
supposed
won't give it
to
to
get
McCaffrey
it.
either.
He's supposed to get it by week 17. He's on trajectory to do that, which would be his 16th game.
Right now, as it stands, Dak Prescott is the MVP of the league.
No,
But how can you deny that?
I don't think he is.
But why?
I don't think he's the best. I just told you he's not even the best player on his fucking team. Period. He is not better
Dak
than Christian
Prescott's
McCaffrey.
Not the best
Christian
player on his team.
McCaffrey is
I've
the best
said
player
Dak
on the
Prescott.
49ers.
I said Dak Prescott.
Oh, Dak Prescott is
Dak
not.
Prescott
I don't even think
right
Dak
now-
Prescott's the best player on his team.
You have to understand, okay? Let's break this down here. Ever since they had that Cardinals loss, they lost 2 games. One was to Philadelphia and one was to San Francisco.
Right.
Okay? Their wins in that span were 38-3, 20-17, 43-20, 49-17, 33-10,
Who do you think
45-10.
is the best player on the Dallas Cowboys?
Probably CeeDee Lamb or Micah Parsons. Take your pick.
One of those two.
Micah Parsons.
One of those two.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Micah Parsons too. That's my opinion, but not a lot of people like defensive players.
Right
so I
now,
get
CeeDee
that.
Lamb's probably the third best receiver. in
CeeDee
football.
Lamb, no, I think he's the second best player on that team.
No, in football, the third best
I-
receiver in football.
I'd say he's top 2 at this point.
You can
Right
make an
now,
argument week to week between him and AJ Brown.
It's between him and AJ Brown.
Correct.
And Tyreek Hill's right there too.
Tyreek Hill's number 1. There's no arguing that Tyreek Hill's number 1. Okay?
In his division, I would say AJ Brown's a little bit better than him.
That's
just
depends
my
on the week.
opinion.
It depends if AJ Brown's going to be a diva that week and throw a fucking tantrum because he only got 5 targets, or if he's actually going to play football.
So here's the problem with I love the argument, but here's the problem. CeeDee Lamb isn't able to do anything that he's been able to do without Dak Prescott playing as well as he has.
Brock Purdy is unable to do what he does without fucking Christian McCaffrey.
That's not true,
No.
though.
They lost.
That's not
three-
true. That's
Fuck
not true.
you.
That's
They
not
lost
true.
3
That's
in
not
a row
true.
when Christian McCaffrey did not play.
Christian
You-
McCaffrey hasn't missed a game
You
yet
had
this
me.
year.
You had me in the first
He
half.
did.
Not
No,
gonna
he
lie.
didn't.
He missed fucking 2 games.
No, he didn't.
No.
Well, didn't miss, but he didn't
Debo.
play. Didn't
Debo.
play all the
It
way.
was-
Christian
you
McCaffrey
had
has
me.
not missed
I
a
was,
game.
I was shaking my head like this until you subbed in Christian McCaffrey. If you want to make the case for Debo or Ayuk or George Kittle, I'd believe you because the argument would hold. But no, I genuinely believe that the Niners would do just fine without McCaffrey because they're
I
winning
don't.
games.
I think without McCaffrey, they're not the same machine at all.
But they are.
At
They
all.
haven't
They are.
even needed
At
that,
all.
that McCaffrey anytime.
McCaffrey is cherry on top.
That McCaffrey anytime
Hey,
that they were
look at
riding
his
at the beginning of
fucking
the year.
numbers. He leads the league in rushing. He fucking leads the league in receiving of all backs. What are we talking about here? The guy leads the league in rushing, leads the league in receiving on all fucking backs. So what are we talking about here? He's clearly the best player on their team.
Yes.
Period.
I'm
Period.
not arguing with you that Christian
Okay,
McCaffrey.
Debo's missed so many fucking games. I don't even know where he's at. Ayuk's got better numbers than he does.
I'm
Come
not.
on, dude.
I'm not denying.
What are we talking about here?
I'm not denying that Christian McCaffrey is the best player in their team. What I
Yes.
am denying is the position's value, which is why there was a big argument.
You know what? We're all saying that the running back position is devalued, but that's bullshit too. Because all these teams that are going to go into the playoffs have to be able to run the football. If you can't, you're going to fucking lose. Period.
I just think that the teams that are going to win the Super Bowl don't need like the Ravens have lost all their running backs.
Last year's Super Bowl. Go back to it. Who had a fucking monster game that nobody talked about?
I didn't say you don't need a running
I'm
back.
just
for the
asking a
Super-
question.
I didn't say you don't need a running back to win the Super Bowl. What I'm saying is that the teams this year, it's not going to come down to the running game until maybe the Super Bowl. You know,
Correct.
you want to control the tempo.
Correct. No, it's going to. I would say it's a championship
The whole
game.
argument, the whole narrative going into the year was that we can't pay this position anymore because it's just so cyclical and it's a revolving door in terms of value. And I think that his receivers, Brock Purdy's receivers, mean more to him than Christian McCaffrey does. I think Brock Purdy needs the receivers more than he needs McCaffrey. That's just. You could shoot it down all you want, but Brock Purdy's the MVP
I ain't no
candidate on
shooting
that
it
team.
down. I know what I look at. I know what I see.
That's fine.
I know football.
That's fine.
I've seen it for fucking decades.
The people with MVP
and decades
votes,
and decades.
The people with MVP votes think that Brock Purdy is more valuable to that team than Christian McCaffrey is, and I agree. I'm not even saying he's the best person on the team.
Trent Dilfer was fucking didn't even come close to winning MVP.
Did you guys pick the game? Did you both pick? You picked it. You picked Dallas to win, Dallas to cover, and what'd you pick? The under?
The over. I did take the under. Yes, I
Did you pick the game? You picked the Eagles
And the under.
and the under.
Dan doesn't even know the situation, but he came in and asked how you were doing in fantasy football. Anyways, play action sets it up. I agree with that's very true too. Zolo, did you pick this game?
I did. I picked the Cowboys. I picked the Cowboys to cover the 3.5, and I picked the over. I think that
got so unhinged so fast today, but it was riveting. Let's pull up the. We have 2 Monday night matchups to pick this week. 2 Monday night matchups.
That's stupid.
Forgetting a game.
Oh, I am forgetting a game. Here we go. This will probably be another one. The first place 9-3 Detroit Lions are headed to Soldier Field to play the fourth place 4-8 Chicago Bears. Detroit is a 3.5-point favorite in this one. The over-under is 43. Let's go. I'll start this one off. I'm going to take the Detroit Lions minus 3.5, and I'm going to take the over. I think they run out of Chicago with a big win, and I think they kind of bring everybody who's nervous right now back down to earth. I mean, at the end of the day, it has to happen. Detroit right now is second in the league in offensive statistics still, even having a couple down games. I'm not worried about it. Chicago cannot keep up with them. I think they will get all of this bad juju that they've had as of late out. I'm taking Detroit to cover. I'm taking Detroit to win. I am taking the over, and I am taking David Montgomery as an anytime touchdown scorer. Who else wants to have it?
You want to know who the analytics favor in this one? Favors the Bears. The Bears have been playing really well lately.
I don't give a fuck about analytics.
And they're coming out of the bye.
What are numbers?
And they're coming out of the bye, and every inch of me wants to pick the Bears because of just how well they've played and how they had the Lions last time. I believe the numbers are a little skewed, though, and it comes down to Jared Goff turning the ball over 4 times. Because of the weather and because of the cold, I think the Lions are going to get back to how they should have been the first time against Chicago, which is running the ball. And I agree with you. I think David Montgomery pops off at Soldier Field. I do think the game is very close. I'm going to take the under because it's going to flip-flop the script from last time, which was a very high-scoring bullshit affair. But it was that way because of the turnovers, and in particular, the turnovers in your own zone. The Lions gave up the ball on the kickoff at their 25. And if you don't give freebies to Justin Fields, he's not scoring. He comes back down to earth in that Minnesota game, which is we're going to win with 4 field goals. So I'm going to take the Lions. I'm going to take the under. And I think they're going to have a little bit more control of this game to where they're going to cover the 3.5. I would not be shocked at all if I'm wrong. When Uncle Sam picks Chicago in 10 seconds,
I would be shocked.
When Uncle Sam picks Chicago in 10 seconds, I'm not even going to disagree with him because I could totally see the Bears winning this game. I just genuinely think that the Lions are going to control the tempo and they're not going to turn the ball over.
I would be shit shocked if the Bears win this game. Shit shocked.
I'm going to say this. In the last game with the Bears, I think everybody's missing a lot, that the defense for the Lions actually did not play that bad.
It did.
They held them to 3 field goals that could have been touchdowns.
It didn't.
And that game could have been blown out big time. They could have got blown out big time. And it was because of the turnovers too, though. But they held the Bears. Every time they turned the ball over, they didn't let a touchdown up.
They had over 170 yards of rushing. What do you mean their defense held them together?
They held Chicago to field goals instead of touchdowns. That's the only reason why they were still in that game.
Yeah, but that's what they should be doing.
Anyway, I'm taking Chicago, and I'm taking the under.
Bandwagon, fair weather.
Taking Chicago and the under.
Bandwagon.
I just, you know what? I don't like golf outside.
What happened?
I don't like it outside.
Bandwagon.
What?
It's bandwagon.
Say what you want to say,
bandwagon.
dude.
Chicago and Green Bay last year in the cold.
Here, I could
Jared
just
Goff.
do, if you want to, I could just do the pussy. Oh, I'm going to take the Lions, baby. Take Chicago to cover. Then you'd be fucking complaining about that. So I'm taking Chicago to win this flat.
I almost did that for the record, but the reason why I didn't end up doing that
And the
is
under.
the 3.5 is tricky because if Chicago covers the 3.5, they're winning that game out.
Right.
So that's why I think the Lions are just gonna.
And I hope I'm wrong.
The tempo.
I hope I'm fucking wrong.
I think you're wrong.
Good
You're
things,
very wrong.
good fucking things happen if the Lions win this game.
Oh.
They're fucking close.
The Lions know this game is the key to the kingdom game.
Yeah.
This is it. They have to win this game, period. If they lose this game, it's panic alarms. It is sound the alarm, 5-alarm fucking fire. What the fuck is going on? That doesn't mean they won't win the division. That doesn't mean they won't be in the playoffs. But at the end of the day, that means this team is not what we thought they were.
The position group, the surprising position group I want you guys to look out for is the Lions corners. I think they're going to take this game a lot more seriously and a lot more personally.
They have no answer for Moore.
Well,
They have no answer for him last game.
I'm thinking they play it a lot differently this time.
hope they do.
I'm thinking they go man and they jam more at the line.
Yeah.
And they're gonna let Justin Fields. They're gonna make him earn it. That's what I think's gonna happen.
Okay, let's get the play. He'll have on his Jim McMahon jersey from '86. There it is.
You got one of them.
85,
The best thing- hey,
85, asshole.
How did we wait this long to send the link to Uncle Tony? God damn.
That's you, dude.
This is perfect. Well, no, you have a phone.
I don't wanna
too,
hear this
and
shit.
access to the YouTube fucking channel.
If we were to ask Janet who her favorite brother is, who do you think she'd say?
Tony.
Anyways, okay, let's pick the two. We're not going to get into it, but we're just going to pick them. Monday night, these should both come pretty easy, I would assume. Tennessee at Miami. Miami's a 13-point favorite. Just pick a winner.
Miami.
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 Okay. There was a hesitation there. I got real worried for a second. Green Bay at the Giants. Green Bay's a 6.5-point favorite.
Reluctantly and can see it happen the other way, but I'm taking the Packers.
I'm taking the Giants. Doo-doo.
I'm taking the Packers.
Okay. So now let's bring up the playoff machine that I'm sure it'll take Bruce 20 minutes. Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Holy shit.
We're doing good on time too. We're
Somebody's
gonna
Oh,
got
I know.
that hot
We're
right now.
we are like lightning motherfucking McQueen today. We might hold it under fucking 100 minutes today.
Hey, that
Beautiful.
one eye is looking a little bad over there.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Red.
his brown eyes looking pounded.
Left eye. Well, actually, it's the right eye.
Oh, maybe
My right, your left.
sawdust in my eyes all day.
Oh, is that what it
Okay.
is?
So hold on. Bruce,
Schmeg does.
in the Tampa Bay Atlanta game, how did us three pick?
Tampa Bay.
There's 2 for Tampa.
Yep.
Okay. In the Indianapolis Cincinnati game,
Cincy.
Jacksonville and Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Oh, none of my picks are coming through here. Houston and the Jets.
Fuck did that go?
Houston.
Houston.
The Rams and the Ravens. I think we all took the Ravens, right?
No, I took.
It's
took the
Ravens.
Rams.
2 of us took the Ravens.
Yeah.
You
Two of
sure
us
you
took the
you sure you don't want to change that one up yet?
No,
That's gonna be a sword to die on.
Lions.
The Lions,
I took Chicago.
Saints.
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 Las Vegas.
You took the Saints, right? Did you take the Saints or the Panthers?
I took the Saints.
Yeah, you and I
You
took
guys
the
both took
Saints.
the Saints. All of us took the Raiders.
Raiders, Niners.
All of us took the Niners.
I think Bills.
Who you took the Bills, correct?
Yeah, I took the
Yep. So 2 of us took the Bills.
No, I took Kansas City.
Yeah, it's 2-1. You have to.
Okay.
That's how we do this.
Chargers.
Denver at the Chargers. We took Chargers. Dallas,
Green Bay. Miami.
Green Bay, and Miami. Okay. So now, with Tampa Bay's win over Atlanta this week, Tampa Bay will now be first in the NFC South. With Cincinnati's win over Indianapolis,
I think you have Tampa out of the 4.
Indianapolis falls out of playoff out of the playoff picture. With Cleveland's win over Jacksonville, Cleveland moves into the 5 seed. With Houston's win over the Jets, they move into the 6 seed. Baltimore stays exactly where they're at with a win over the Rams. The Lions, in this scenario, move into the 2 seed due to San Francisco's win over Seattle, moving them into the 1 seed.
So just to be clear, San Francisco wins, Eagles lose, Lions win. Those 3 scenarios, the Lions jump up to 2. Boom.
San Francisco jumps up to 1. Dallas moves to 3 as the division winner, and Philadelphia falls to the 5 seed. The Buffalo-Kansas City game doesn't have too many ramifications other than the fact that Kansas City's already the 3 seed, and Buffalo's still on the outside looking in. The Green Bay win over the Giants doesn't move them much either. So, right now, after this week, we have San Francisco 1, Detroit 2, Dallas 3, Tampa 4, Philly 5, Green Bay 6, Minnesota 7. How awful does it make you feel to see Philadelphia over there in the 5 seed?
How awful is it that 3 fucking North teams are in there?
It doesn't
It
end
won't
that
matter.
way.
Let's just get to that. You don't have to break it down week to week. Let's get to the end so we can show him how
Okay.
quick the Vikings fall out of there.
Okay, I
Week
just wanted
15.
to see that.
Week 15. Here we go. Chargers Raiders
Raiders.
Wow. It's in Vegas.
in Vegas
In
on
Vegas.
Thursday Night Football.
Raiders.
Raiders.
Minnesota at Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
I'm gonna go with the Bengals right now. That could change though.
Pittsburgh at Indianapolis.
Indianapolis.
Indy.
Denver at Detroit.
Denver.
Detroit.
Denver. No, you know what? No, because I just picked against. No, we'll go with the Lions. We'll go with the Lions.
Thank you.
What the fuck?
That's pretty right there.
No, last week I picked Denver. If it's the Denver team that showed up against the Texans, and if it's the Denver team I think is going to lose to the Chargers, I think the Lions beat Denver on Saturday.
Okay.
The Jets at Miami.
Dolphins.
Houston at Tennessee.
Texans.
Texans.
Tampa Bay at Green Bay.
Green Bay.
Green
Tampa
Bay.
Bay.
The Giants at the Saints.
Giants.
Fuck it, Giants.
Oh, God damn it.
Were you going to take the Saints? Were you going to take the Saints?
That's just so I don't even know. No, just roll.
No,
with
you
the
guys are
Giants.
laughing right now. Watch.
Atlanta at Carolina.
What do you mean laughing? I
Carolina.
took the same thing as you.
Atlanta. Are you kidding me?
Carolina.
Atlanta.
Thank you. Chicago at Cleveland. Chicago.
Cleveland.
Kansas City at New England. Go ahead, do it. Fucking do it.
Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Weak. Frisco at Arizona.
Arizona.
Niners.
Frisco. Washington at the Rams.
Rams.
I'm going to pick Washington.
Taking the Rams here.
That would imply that the Rams lose in back-to-back weeks, and I don't think if the Rams are bad, they will lose in back-to-back weeks. I don't think they're losing at SoFi coming off of a
Okay.
loss.
Dallas at Buffalo. I'm
Dallas.
taking Buffalo.
Dallas,
Taking Dallas.
Baltimore at Jacksonville.
Baltimore.
Wow. You know what we just did? That was big. Philadelphia at Seattle. I'm taking Seattle.
Philly.
Philly. We put the Bengals in.
Well, not only did we put the Bengals in, but the Bengals jump to a 6th seed. Jacksonville drops to the 7th seed, and Houston wins the division.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I've thought that's going to happen for a while, and I still think the Colts sneak in here. At some
And
point.
with a Minnesota loss to the Bengals get into the playoffs. Minnesota falls out of the playoffs. Los Angeles grabs the 7th seed in the NFC.
Oh, wow.
Moving on, week 16.
Okay.
Saints at Rams.
Rams,
Rams.
God, why are we giving new... Oh. Bengals at Steelers.
why are we giving what?
Why are we giving the Rams all these wins?
I mean, you hate the Saints though too.
Yes, but I hate the Rams. I hate them both. And now we have the Saints on a 3-game losing streak.
That's
No,
my
we-
team. That's my South team. Is the Saints.
Okay.
You should be happy about that. It's 2 horse
Rams,
race.
great. Rams. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. Again, I don't think there's any way Pittsburgh loses out the rest of the year.
No.
What do you think?
You both said no. So it's both. You both picked Pittsburgh. It doesn't matter what.
Did you actually pick Pittsburgh?
Wow. If they lose that game, they're out.
Cincy?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're only at 8-6.
Okay.
I'm with you on Pittsburgh. You know what, Pittsburgh? I'm with you on they're not going to lose out, and that's the one winnable game they have left.
Buffalo at the Chargers.
Buffalo.
This is where
Buffalo.
this gets interesting.
Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Cleveland at Houston.
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 Wow, we have Houston as a 10. Oh, my God.
They'll drop one too.
Hold on.
Houston will drop.
Hold on. Who's next?
Washington at the Jets in Aaron Rodgers' return.
Aaron Rodgers' return. I'm taking the Jets.
I think the Jets are winning that no matter what.
Okay.
Okay. Seattle at Tennessee.
Seattle.
Seattle.
Indianapolis at Atlanta.
Indianapolis.
Colts.
Atlanta. Green Bay at Carolina.
Green
Packers. God, it'd be nice if on the same day when the Lions went there on Saturday the 24th, if the Packers go into to Carolina on Sunday the 24th this year, and they choke just like the Lions did last year.
Yeah.
That'd be poetic. That'd be perfect. Get a Christmas miracle.
Detroit at Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Right now, the Lions.
Detroit. Jacksonville at Tampa Bay.
Tampa.
Jacksonville.
What are you doing? Arizona at Chicago.
Arizona.
I'm going to go with Arizona on this one just because I think the Bears are going to want to keep some better playoff positioning or draft positioning at that point.
Dallas at Miami. I'm taking
Dallas.
Miami.
Dallas.
Wow, we have Dallas. Dallas looking strong right now. New England at Denver. This game's got a lot
Denver.
of shit behind it.
Denver.
Denver.
Right now, I think that on the Dallas thing, I think there's just a collision course between like, can Dallas get shit pumped by the Niners a third time? I think that's your NFC Championship game right now as it stands, and it's who's going to get shit pumped for a third time.
Raiders at Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Eagles.
Eagles.
Okay, this is probably
This is
the best
Christmas
game
night.
of the year.
This is Christmas night.
This is Christmas
Could
Day
be
night.
Could be the Super Bowl, yeah.
Baltimore at San Francisco.
Baltimore.
San
Francisco.
Wow, you guys suck.
Okay.
If the Niners were on the road, I would take Baltimore.
So would I. That's a home team advantage.
Yeah.
That's probably going to be a 1 or 2 point game.
Yep.
Spread.
And that's
Weak-
your teams, though.
What?
That's solo.
The Ravens, yeah, they are.
Week 17. Here we go. Jets at Browns.
Jets.
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 Cleveland just dropped from the 5 to the 7 seed in that one Aaron Rodgers win. Lions at Dallas.
Dallas.
Dallas, for sure.
For the record, we have Dallas winning out now.
Yeah, Dallas still.
Okay.
I'm committed to that.
Miami at Baltimore for the 1 seed.
Baltimore.
At Baltimore. Baltimore.
New England at Buffalo. Give me Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Give me New England. Last
What's the
game of the year,
Bills?
no?
No.
What's
got
the
one
Bills'
more.
record
Oh.
at this point?
The Bills are clawing at 9-7
And how are they not in?
because Cleveland's in at 9-7. Indy and Jacksonville are all 9-win teams. So matchup wise, Buffalo must be one behind. So their season's going to come down to week 18, it looks like.
Yeah.
But we got to finish. We'll see here in a second. Atlanta at Chicago. I'm taking my
Atlanta.
Birds. Give me the Birds, baby.
If that's a game to clinch the division, I'll take Atlanta very reluctantly.
Vegas at Indy.
Indy.
I think I'm taking the Raiders in that game.
Yeah, I'll go with the Raiders.
That puts Buffalo in.
So they need the South. Buffalo just needs the South teams to lose, and
Fall apart.
and they're probably in if they get to 9.
Well, in this game, in this week, we had Cleveland losing and Indy losing.
and it's
so
gonna
far.
it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I also think like I'm probably a lot higher on Cleveland at the moment. That's gonna change next week if they lose. So if Cleveland loses this one, they're probably dropping out of the picture. But right now, their schedule's more favorable. You know, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to fucking tell you here.
Carolina at Jacksonville.
Jacksonville,
Jacksonville.
Tennessee at Houston.
Houston,
Houston.
Houston. Wow. Rams at Giants. I'm taking the Giants.
Rams. Taking the
yeah,
Rams.
Giants. Cold weather.
Woo! There it is.
Cold weather going across the
go,
country.
baby.
Cold weather going across the country. I like that. But I want the Rams to win because it puts them in that position against the Lions, I think, doesn't it? Or no?
No.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
Arizona at Philadelphia.
Philly.
Philadelphia.
The Saints at Tampa Bay.
Tampa.
New Orleans.
Tampa.
Yeah, New Orleans.
There it is. Yes, let's fucking go, baby. Woo!
Free State, they're going to be fucking, come on.
Frisco at Washington.
You and I already lost the battle. We have Atlanta in there.
Frisco at Washington.
Niners.
Niners.
Pittsburgh at Seattle.
Rematch of Super
Seattle.
Bowl 40. I'm going with Seattle at home.
Ooh. Cincinnati at Kansas City.
Chiefs.
Yep.
The Chargers at the Broncos.
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 Green Bay at Minnesota.
Packers.
I'm going to
Packers.
take Minnesota in that game.
Go ahead. I'd like that. So just do it.
Let's see what happens. Nothing happens. So we'll Should we just give it to Green Bay then? We'll give it to Green Bay. Give it to Green Bay, Bruce.
I did.
Okay. Week 18 for all the fucking marbles. So we're in a situation now. Hold on. I want to see who's clinched. So let's say we give KC a win here. Hold on. And we give Baltimore a... Where the fuck is Baltimore?
They got a little.
Baltimore has a loss. It doesn't matter. So at this point, Baltimore's clinched the 1 seed. So
Cheers, Garrett.
Seattle at Arizona.
Seattle.
Seattle.
Okay. Pittsburgh at Baltimore. Baltimore has clinched the 1
Baltimore.
seed.
Baltimore still.
You think they're going to play that game?
Yeah. I think it doesn't matter. I think it genuinely doesn't.
John Harbaugh don't sit his guys.
Tampa Bay at Carolina. I'm going to take Tampa.
I'm taking Tampa.
Tampa.
And Mike Evans' last game in a Buccaneers uniform. That'll be a big one for me. Cleveland at Cincinnati.
Cincy.
Didn't the Browns win it the first time?
That game has massive playoff ramifications. Massive.
Let's have fun. I'm going to say Cincinnati.
Let's go Cincinnati. Minnesota at Detroit.
The Lions.
Detroit.
Chicago at Green Bay.
Green Bay.
Green Bay.
Doesn't make a difference. Green Bay's already clinched the playoffs in that point. Houston at Indianapolis. If Houston wins this game, they are out of the playoffs. India's out of the playoffs.
Wow.
Actually, if Houston
I'm
wins
taking Indy in that game.
If Houston wins this game, Cleveland gets in even with a loss to Cincinnati, and Houston takes the 2 seed with a win. If Indy wins, Houston takes a 4 seed, Indy takes the 6 seed, and Buffalo sneaks in the 7 seed. I think I'm going to take Indianapolis in that game as well. Because for us to give Houston 12 wins is just kind of ludicrous.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
Let's give Indy that game. Kansas City at the Chargers.
Kansas City.
Chiefs.
Denver at the Raiders.
Denver.
Denver.
Okay, so where's Denver now? Hold on. Denver's at 9-8.
I'm going to miss the playoffs.
They just choked too hard at the beginning of the year.
Well, no,
Huh?
that's not true. That is not true.
We still gotta-
Buffalo at Miami.
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 And
there's Buffalo out and Denver in.
So put Buffalo in.
And that game means nothing to Miami.
Buffalo can only lose 1 game going forward, if my math is correct, right?
10-7, yes. Yep.
Wait, hold on. 10-7 probably gets them. 10-7 gets
10-7 gets them in. 9-6 does not. And if they lose to Miami, they'd be 9-6. So who are we going to give this one to?
Miami.
Even though now here's the thing. Do we think Mike
I
McDaniel
just have a hard time
gives
seeing
a
the
fuck?
Dolphins lose twice. I don't think they're losing that game twice.
Okay. Let's give it
just
to
don't-
Miami.
I just don't believe that.
Let's give it to Miami.
It's at Miami, no?
At Miami. But
Yeah.
this is the thing. Week 18, if that game doesn't mean
Week 18
anything.
at Miami, you're going to be 90 degrees and fuckers going to be dying out there.
No, but what I'm saying, if it doesn't mean anything, does Mike McDaniel sit Tua and Tyreek and
No,
Raheem?
I don't see him doing that.
Okay. Jets at Patriots.
Jets.
I'm taking New England.
Jets. Aaron Rodgers. Jets.
Why do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to come back and go 3-0?
I just think that's what's going to happen.
Wow.
I could see that to set the tone for next
Aaron,
year.
thank you for coming back.
If Aaron Rodgers genuinely plays in that game,
Jets, fucker.
the Jets.
Aaron Rodgers, thank you for coming back and leading us to a beautiful 7-10 season and risking your life. Thank you. Atlanta at New Orleans.
New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Okay. Philadelphia at the Giants.
Philly.
Yeah, Philly.
That gives Philly the 1 seed. The Rams at the 49ers.
I'm taking the Rams.
If
in
the
this.
Rams win, they're in. If the Rams lose, they're out.
taking the Rams
Niners are
in
going to
that.
take it back here. Yeah.
Jacksonville at Tennessee.
The Jacksonville needs this,
Jacksonville.
right? Put Tennessee real quick.
Jacksonville wins this game, they win the division.
So nothing happens. Jacksonville. Oh, yeah. So Jacksonville needs to win the division. Yeah.
Correct.
Jacksonville.
Dallas at Washington.
Dallas.
Dallas.
Okay. So this is our official playoff picture prior to week 14 happening, but we're picking it all the way through. So at the end of week 18, this is what we have. Hold on, let me see. What's going on in the comments real quick? Oh, hi, Garrett. What's going on?
Is he German? Yeah, he is.
For the prone, Garrett. For the prone.
For the pro.
In the AFC, the 1 seed is Baltimore with a bye at 13-4. The 2 seed is Kansas City at 12-5. The 3 seed is Miami at 12-5. The 4th seed is Jacksonville at 11-6. The 5th seed, in playing for the 3rd time this year, is the Houston Texans at 11-6. The 6th seed is the Indianapolis Colts and Gardner Minshew at 10-7. And the 7th seed is the Denver Broncos at 9-8. Narrowly missing the playoffs is the Buffalo Bills at 9-8. Also, the Cleveland Browns at 9-8. The Cincinnati Bengals at 9-8. All missing the playoffs in the AFC. So our first round playoff matchups would be Denver at Kansas City, Indy at Miami, and Houston at Jacksonville.
Divisional games.
Divisional games.
Take Kansas City there.
Okay, so we're taking Kansas City, Indy, Miami. I'm taking Miami.
For what?
Houston, Jacksonville. I'm taking Houston.
Talking to him.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Really? Over your Jacksonville Jaguars?
I'm with you on all 3 of those.
Interesting.
I have Houston doing to Jacksonville what Jacksonville did to the Chargers last year.
Okay.
In the NFC, we have the Seattle Seahawks at the Philadelphia Eagles.
Eagles.
Eagles? Are you taking Seattle in that game?
What?
Are you taking Seattle in that
Eagles.
game? Green Bay at Detroit.
The Lions are not losing that game twice in a row at home. And on top of that, Uncle Sam hates to hear it, but Aleem confirmed that he will be back week 18 for Minnesota.
Okay.
CJ Gardner-Johnson will be back for that game.
Okay.
And obviously James Houston will be back.
That's their home game. They should win that.
Yeah. If that's the case, if they're as healthy as I think they're going to be, I think that's going to be the
They
difference.
should
and
win
they're gonna
that,
game.
regardless.
I'm with you.
They're at home.
And Dallas at Atlanta.
Dallas.
Dallas.
Atlanta getting the 4 seed at 8-9. Detroit with the 3 seed at 13-4. Philadelphia at 14-3 has the 2. Frisco has the bye at 14-3.
So then you get the Dallas-San Francisco rematch.
You get a Dallas-San
And
Francisco
the Lions
rematch.
would have to go to Philly.
And the Lions go to
fuck?
Philly. Okay.
Anyway.
Hold on. So we have Dallas at San Francisco. I'm obviously taking San Francisco there. Dallas at Frisco.
I don't know. It's a toss-up, man.
San Francisco at home.
Dallas.
Okay. Detroit at Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
Oof.
That's blasphemy.
If it's the
Pick
Detroit at Philadelphia,
If
and you're
it's
going
the
to tell me
Philly
it's fucking
team-
blasphemy?
if it's the
Really?
Philly team from
Come
last
on,
week,
dude.
if it's
Can't
the Philly,
pick 'em.
if it's the Philly team from last week, and if it's the Philly team that I genuinely think is going to lose 2 in a row,
On the road in Philadelphia.
that's the difference.
And fucking,
is on the road in Philadelphia.
hello.
Okay, so then we have Philadelphia at San Francisco in the NFC Championship game.
Right. I think Philly wins that, but
I think San Francisco wins.
even on the road. I
Right
think
now,
they
San
win it.
Francisco wins it, but Philly could have the same bad taste in their mouth that San Francisco had last week when they went into Philly.
And in the AFC, we have Baltimore hosting Houston.
Baltimore.
And we have Kansas City hosting the Dolphins.
Kansas City.
I'm taking Miami.
Miami.
So then we have.
Miami's got to go to Kansas City.
Yep.
To Arrowhead.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll take Kansas City.
Okay. Do either of them beat Baltimore in your eyes?
Wait, Miami has to go to. We gave the Chiefs the 2,
Yep. Chiefs
That-
took the 2 seed.
so I think I'm
Because their schedule is such dog shit.
very reluctantly same drill. I don't think Mike McDaniel is the guy that's going to beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead that week. They're going to be tough that week.
I agree.
But it changes the next week because the Chiefs have to go to Baltimore.
You know,
The Chiefs
there's an
lose.
experience factor here too that we're not talking about, and fucking who has more experience in the playoffs in Kansas City?
Andy
Come on.
Reid.
So-
Andy Reid.
So here's the other thing that we're missing out on here. I don't think we've ever had a 1 seed, or I don't remember, a 1 seed versus 1 seed Super Bowl.
Last year was 1 seed versus 1 seed.
Yeah. Philadelphia and Kansas City.
It happens.
They were both ones.
It happens less often than often, but it
Right.
happens. It does happen. Yeah, last year those teams both had the bye.
Philly was fucking undefeated.
Those teams both had the bye, and then Cincinnati had to go to.
Yeah,
Who did Kansas City beat the first? Oh, Kansas City crushed Jacksonville, and then the Chiefs, and then the Bengals had to go there. That was in
Jacksonville had
Paris.
jumped in there, and they were kicking shit out of people.
And then same drill.
They beat?
The Niners crushed the Cowboys, and then went on to Philly and lost. I don't remember who Philly had to beat the first week. It wasn't someone good.
It has only happened 13 times.
Yeah, so it's less often than often, but that's a quarter of, or sorry, that's 20% of the time. That's a fifth of the time it does happen. But it's rare. I mean, and then you also have there's a team from divisional. There's usually a wild card team that makes a crazy run, like the Bengals have done it the last couple years. So there's a team from wild card weekend that's going to be a road team. My guess is it's Dallas this year. That's going to make a run. And then conversely, Houston could totally do it.
Yeah.
Houston could be the Bengals from 2 years ago. The Bengals snuck in with the 7 seed 2 years ago and then fucked their way to the Super Bowl.
Okay, so with all that being said, who's our Super Bowl champion right now? Pick it.
Who's in the Super Bowl?
Well, yours is different than ours. Okay. We have San Francisco in the NFC. You have Philadelphia.
Okay.
So you have Philadelphia and Kansas City,
I'm
correct?
taking Philadelphia to win the Super Bowl.
I have the Niners over the Ravens.
I still sticking with the Dolphins. I'm going to stick with Miami. I think they're a team of destiny right now.
I think Philadelphia's got some unfinished business.
We need to go through and
be hungry when it comes at this.
You need to get the last 3 weeks so we can write down what we did, just out of curiosity, how this changed every week.
I want to ask you something, and I'm not trying to be a dick. Okay, I'm going to preface it with that. You don't think there's a certain bitch factor with the Philadelphia Eagles, where they're all just a bunch of prima donna, little bitchy fucking crybaby, whiny
say the
fucking.
Same thing about Kansas City.
Can I tell you what is
Yeah,
bad
but we
about the
know
Eagles?
that about Kansas City.
Say that same
Can I
thing
tell you
about
what
Kansas
is
City.
very bad
We
about
know
the
that
Eagles
about
that
Kansas
will
City.
cost them in certain games? Same thing you've been bitching about the Lions. Their defense. The Eagles' defense is very bad. It's worse than the Lions' defense. It is. Look it up.
You need to stop right now.
Look it up. Gives up more points per game. Gives up more yards per game.
Level on both of those.
It's not about the talent level. It's not about
exactly what it's about.
It's not.
It's exactly what it's about.
It's not about the
Put
talent
that
level.
defensive line here in Detroit, we wouldn't even be talking right now. They'd be undefeated.
Maybe. Doesn't matter though.
Maybe, dude.
Doesn't matter. It's about the
Come on, dude.
it's about the
Wake up,
statistics.
Wake up.
Number 23 is Detroit. Number 24 is Philly. And that's
I don't give a fuck, dude.
That's why they've choked away
Look at-
these games.
You're going to try
You
to
gotta,
tell
you
me.
gotta give a fuck because they've
you're
choked
gonna
away
try
these
to tell
games.
me that the Detroit Lions secondary is better than Philadelphia?
If the Niners give up, or excuse me, if the Eagles give up 35 to the Niners, they're losing that game 10 out of 10.
One game, dude. I don't care.
You're getting carried away. I'm telling
I'm
you.
not getting carried away.
You are.
I'm fucking speaking honest truth.
No,
You
you're,
think that
you're
fucking
your
defense
shook as all
against
hell.
the Lions defense? You're trying to tell me that the Lions defense is better up and down than the fucking Eagles? You're high.
You're shook
You're
as
as
all
high
hell.
as fucking Bruce.
You're shook as all hell because I
I'm
brought.
not shook.
Don't cut me off. You're shook as all hell because I brought the Lions into this. It's not even about the Lions. I'm just telling you that the Eagles are getting gashed because they're bad defensively. That's
Correct, because they have no
exactly what's happening.
linebackers.
It doesn't
They
matter
have no
what,
linebackers.
It doesn't matter what they
They
have.
had to go
or
to the street.
It doesn't matter what they have or what they don't have. I'm just telling you.
Oh.
Their defense is going to be the reason why they lose these games. If they give up to 35 points that they gave up to San Francisco, if they do that to anybody, they are losing. It just is what it is. If the Niners drop 35 on them or if the Cowboys drop 35 on the Eagles, they are losing those games. It's just what it is. If they want to win, and I think they're more than capable, and I agree with you 100%. I think talent-wise, they have one of the most talented defenses. But it's not really about that right now. They're getting fucking
It's going to be
gashed.
about that. It's going to be about that. Listen, once you get into playoffs, that's what it's about. It's about talent. It's about talent. And that's what's going to put you over the edge is talent.
I think it's something you said earlier. It's experience. And
Talent and experience.
And credit
they
to
have
them on the
unfinished
experience.
business. They thought they were fucking robbed last year, and they were. And we'll see. What?
They were robbed.
They were fucking robbed, dude. They were fucking robbed last year.
Are you talking about the penalty?
I'm talking about everything all the way up and down.
I don't know what where did
field,
the love affair
The field,
come
the
from?
penalty, the fucking
Again,
scenario.
experience. They dominated the whole first half, and then they got butt fucked by Andy Reid in the second half. I think that's all that happened there. And
I don't like
Mahomes,
that they
and
got away
Mahomes.
from doing what they got them there too. That I did not like. And you know what? They had a couple costly turnovers in that game because they were a young, inexperienced team that hadn't been to the fucking Super Bowl. Now they have a little experience. It's going to go a long way. Believe me, the experience factor, everybody's writing off Kansas City right now, dude. Listen, they get in there at a fucking 2 seed.
Nobody's
watch out.
writing off
They
Kansas
have to get
City.
No, I'm just saying,
hey, I'll
you
be
wrote
honest.
off Kansas City.
No, I didn't.
Go to Miami. You wrote off Kansas City.
The road goes.
He's got Baltimore. We already said that. Baltimore's more than capable enough of doing it. But you know what? When one of those teams got to go to fucking Arrowhead,
yes, but
that's going to be the thing.
This is what you're
and
missing.
it's experience.
You're
dude.
missing
it's
something.
experience.
I'm not
You're
missing
Yes,
anything.
you are. The big thing you're missing is teams regress, right?
True.
Kansas City.
That is true. Look at
Kansas
Buffalo.
City has regressed from last year.
Are they as good as they were last year?
That's
No.
what I'm saying.
At this
Philadelphia.
point, at this point, no.
Philadelphia has regressed from last year.
Are they as good as they were last year? No, they are not.
Okay, so when that happens and other teams get better, you could sit there and
Yeah,
say
but the other
experience in
teams
the
that
road
you're
all you
talking
want.
about, outside Baltimore, I don't see another team that's better than them.
Miami is
Listen,
better than them right
Miami
now.
hasn't even fucking beat a top 5 team yet.
Miami's better than them right now.
Miami has not beat a top 5 team yet.
So
Every
similar-
big game they've won and they lost.
Similar to the regression argument, I also think there's a slew of teams right now that are good and capable of winning, but they have something that they cannot overcome. Like the Lions clearly cannot overcome. Maybe they can down the road when they get healthier. I don't see it, but the Lions clearly can't overcome their defensive woes. They have a great offense. They're not ready because of their defense. I think Kansas City is at the point. This is why I'm a little lackluster on them. Of course, I love them at Arrowhead, even though they've lost some at Arrowhead this year. But I don't think Kansas City can overcome the fact that they don't have the pass catchers. And on top of that, I think that puts emphasis on how good Mahomes has been this year, considering how fucking bad, like it's a down year for Kelsey. They have no fucking receivers. They're losing games because guys can't catch the ball down the stretch. That's happened in 3 out of they have 4 losses or 3 losses, Kansas City.
They're 4.
In 3 out of their 4 losses, it's come down to this guy can't catch the ball. And I think that like there's certain teams, like the Eagles are on the brink right now of not being able to overcome the fact that their defense has been very lackluster. That's where it comes from. You literally can't argue it. It's cost. Their 2 losses are cost.
Yeah, but you
because of
see
their
where,
defense.
where they're losing these games, you can coach for that. You can scheme for that. You could do stuff for that. The problem is right now, in the middle of their field, they can't stop anybody. The linebacker core is fucking guys that are average at best.
In fairness
Their
to you,
secondary is still better than Detroit's. I would put Bradbury and Darius Slay up against anybody else in the fucking league.
in fairness to you, I'm not hitting the panic button on the Eagles yet. But
No,
it's,
I'm not.
But it's close. They lose this weekend, they're out in the division. So all of a sudden, it's
Well,
bad.
I mean, they've already beat Dallas once. They lose. I mean, they
Go ahead.
split.
Can I ask
They
you something?
split. They still a game up on them.
But Dallas is the tiebreaker.
You know your comment on how Miami hasn't beat anybody?
Yeah, they haven't.
Do you know how many above 500 teams Kansas
Well,
City
you're
has
gonna
beat this
what
year?
are we gonna talk about? The 70 points they put on the Broncos?
No. I'm asking you about Kansas City, right? Because the road to the Super Bowl
Yeah.
is through Arrowhead.
Go through Arrowhead.
How many 500 plus teams?
Are we really gonna go through this right now? Go ahead.
Who is Kansas City
I
outside
don't
of
know,
Miami
I'm
by
sorry,
a
I'm sorry.
touchdown?
I appreciate where you're coming from.
Outside of Miami by a touchdown.
I appreciate where you're coming from,
Yeah.
but he's still
The
for
1
certain
point
teams,
loss
he's
to
still
Detroit.
right. If Kansas City, it doesn't matter if they're in the shittiest division and they
Yeah.
clinch a 2 seed.
yeah, but they
Because
lost
teams-
to Detroit.
It's hard
they
to
lost
win.
to Denver, and they lost to Philadelphia.
I
Those are
think-
all big games.
I
Guess
think-
what? Miami lost to fucking Denver too, no? Or no, Denver
no,
lost
they
to Miami.
lost by 50 points.
Yeah. Okay. So what are you trying to tell me here? The 3 big games they had, they lost. They lost to Philadelphia.
The only big game
They
Kansas
lost to
City has
Philadelphia.
won.
Who
Buffalo.
else did they lose to?
Detroit.
Buffalo.
No,
You're
who else
talking
they
about the
lost to
Dolphins. You're
Buffalo
talking about the
big.
Dolphins, yeah.
They lost to Philly. Who else they lose to?
Kansas City by a touchdown.
The Dolphins
Miami.
lost to the Chiefs.
Correct.
Okay, there you go. I just said they lost three of the big games they were in. They lost.
Right, and can't.
Who
what
would
I'm-
they beat beyond
what-
that?
But this is what we're missing here again.
What? What am I missing?
The Chiefs lost the biggest game they've been in. They lost to Detroit.
Here we
Then
go.
hold on, Denver's
the
Denver's a
1 point
500.
loss opening-
Denver's a
opening
500.
night.
See, but you pick and choose when a loss. Is
I'm
written down.
not picking and choosing.
Denver's
opening
above
night.
500. Denver's 500 right now. They lost to Denver.
Okay.
They lost to Philadelphia,
Okay.
and they lost to Green Bay. So their marquee win this
Okay.
year, is Miami by a touchdown.
Okay.
here's the problem, and this is where he's got an edge on the Chiefs argument. It doesn't matter what their wins and what their losses are because this is a really down year in the AFC. It's a down year in general, but this is a really down year in the AFC, and for that reason, it doesn't matter what their wins and losses are. It's going to come down to them and the Dolphins for the 2 seed, and if they get the 2 and they play in the shittiest division, and they're going to win some games to get the 2. If they get the 2. And someone has to come to Arrowhead. You got an advantage with Andy Reid in the playoffs at home. It gets tricky from there if they have to leave Arrowhead, which they haven't had to do in 3 years. If they have to go to Baltimore, that's a fucking crazy crowd too, and that's a way more loaded team than Kansas City has. That's why it doesn't matter the wins and like the value of wins and losses, because at the end of the day, the only person in the last 10 years that's bucked Arrowhead is Joe Burrow. That's it. But it's that you just named
And Jordan Love.
You just named all NFC quarterbacks, though. That's the problem. Except for, of course, Russell Wilson. But I'm saying that's in Denver. That was in Denver. Russell Wilson came close in.
Was in Denver. You're right.
Russell, but he still came
Right,
close
they
in
lost
Kansas
at
City.
Denver.
When they played at Kansas City, that was
Or
a
at
closer
Kansas City,
game than
they
the
lost.
score was.
Yeah.
But that's the problem. Is if it comes
is.
down to
You know
Arrowhead,
what?
it just is what it is.
We already know it, dude. I just told you. They get the 2 seed, dude. Look out.
The
They get the
AFC.
2 seed.
But
Look
see,
out,
this is
dude.
the other thing I don't understand about that take. Because all you do
Oh,
is,
here we go.
No.
My takes are the worst takes in the fucking
because
world.
all you do is sit here and say how, well, I watch the games and I see this and I see that.
That's
You
right.
can't
All I
watch
need
the
to
games.
see.
But you can't watch the games and sit here and tell me that Kansas City's a better team than Miami.
They're not.
In Baltimore.
They're not.
And honest to God, most days Houston.
Okay, should I say it again? They have more experience than all them fucking teams put together.
But God,
That's
always-
just,
on the
when it comes to
Dolphins,
playoff
back
time, this
road
shit
way
goes
of
out the
getting
door,
there.
dude.
It's always a back road way of getting
Playoff football is different from regular season
It
football.
is. That's why
So guess what?
the Chiefs
if
haven't
you
been
don't
the
have the
best
fucking
team.
experience, you're gonna get your fucking tank handed to you.
Like, I don't think the Chiefs were the best team last year. Sure enough, they hosted the championship game and then they won the Super Bowl. So that's my thing with the Dolphins is I don't think Miami is a crazy advantage. Like the Dolphins are, talk about talent on the Philly level, how you're doing the Lions comparison. I think the Dolphins are fucking crazy talented. I think they are the second most talented team in the AFC. They just haven't, like, in the important games, they just haven't really
shown it.
I want to see them go buck wild. I want to see them. I know their defense isn't outstanding, but I want to see them go ape shit, and I just haven't seen that from Miami. I can get it down the stretch. You know, they beat Buffalo at the end. That's a big fucking win. That's a huge win. Who else does Miami have?
Hold on.
All these games coming down the next 4 weeks, it's going to be jockeying position is what it's going to do.
In the AFC.
Fucking wins are going to be big. Both,
In the
I think
AFC.
the NFC too.
Outside of so I think you're jockeying with NFC East, so whoever comes out in Dallas and in Philly, and then San Francisco. I think it's those
Right.
3 teams and then the rest.
See,
I don't think
that
San
could mean
Francisco-
everything though.
I don't think San Francisco is going to lose their position going forward. I genuinely don't think so.
I think if Dallas is able to fucking somehow get a home game, they might be okay.
But they choke.
They might go far.
They choke. If it comes to same drill. If they get the home game off the rip, yes, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. They get the second playoff game at home. Great. If they have to play the Niners, no matter where it is,
On the road,
you know, like
they're
that's
gonna be in trouble.
on the road especially. But like that's like you've shit the bed pretty badly twice against the Niners now.
I mean, if you look at all the teams that have the experienced players,
You think the Dolphins?
San
would beat the
Francisco.
Niners? Would you take the Dolphins over the Niners?
I would right now. I would.
You see something in Miami that I
I
want
see
to see
something that I
it
don't.
just
You
because
want
they're
to know
fun,
what
but I haven't
Miami
seen it
reminds
yet.
me? You want to know what Miami reminds me of? They remind me of the 2021 Bengals. They remind me of that. They have certain guys on defense who are able to break the game.
they
okay?
don't have that anymore though. They've lost
They
some
lost
guys.
Jalen Phillips.
I don't think they're there.
They lost Jalen Phillips.
I just don't see. They did sign Jason Pierre-Paul. I do
Okay.
know that.
I mean,
That's going to help them down the
Jalen
stretch.
Ramsey's had an interception every game he's played. Okay, Bradley Chubb is still there. All right,
Quarter Chubb, half
the
Chubb, full
the
Chubb.
defensive tackle matchup is still there. Like,
Christian Wilkins.
yes, the defense is sneaky good, just like Cincinnati was, right? Because that year that they went to the Super Bowl, Sam Hubbard, nobody knew who he was.
Mm.
Trey Hendrickson, nobody knew who he was. Trey Hendrickson, nobody knew who he was. Those What did I miss something? Sam Hubbard was all pro
You're
prior to
saying
coaching.
nobody
Here's the
knows
thing.
who they are. Those
Here's the
guys-
Nobody
thing.
knew who they
Those
were
guys
prior
were
to that.
top-tier guys in the
Nobody
league.
knew who they were prior to that
Trey
Super Bowl
Hendrickson
run.
was the biggest.
You gotta
They
remember,
won
though,
3 games the year prior.
You got to remember the Bengals were the 7th seed and they snuck in and they got really hot at the right time. I haven't seen that electric heat out of Miami the entire year.
But
they can
we're
still get
missing
hot at the
this.
right time.
We're missing this because Miami has to play Dallas, Baltimore, and Buffalo to end the year.
Okay.
And I bet you they lose 2
If
of
they
those
if they
games.
can win, if
They
they
will
can
lose
win
2
two
of
of those
those
games, that's huge.
They'll lose 2 of those games. And
Possibly.
they'll make it into the playoffs. And
Possibly.
they'll be hot as shit.
Yeah.
Promise. It's Miami has that. They've got that fucked up twinkle right now. They do.
We'll see.
They do.
We'll see. I don't know. I haven't seen it. Like Mike said, I haven't seen it out of them. They're beating the teams they should beat.
I want it to
I
be there.
mean-
I want the sex appeal to be there. I haven't seen like they got to beat a good for me to buy in. If they go 2-3 in those games, which they're totally capable of doing, by
They
the
are.
way.
They go 3-0 in that game, then everybody buys.
Well,
it.
then they got the 1 seed at that point, if my math is
Yeah.
correct.
100%.
They can get to 1 seed. They're dangerous. They're fucking dangerous. You got to go down there and play that.
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
see
think
that happening.
seeding. I don't think seeding matters at all in the AFC.
Unless you're 1.
I actually
Unless-
do.
no,
because
not
if
even.
they got to
I
go
don't think
on
Miami-
the road to Baltimore or to fucking Arrowhead.
That's what I was gonna say. That's what I was literally
that's
gonna say.
tough.
The only way seeding matters is if the Ravens or the Chiefs get the 1 seed because
Correct.
those are tough, cold places to play. Guys are gonna be licking their chops to get into fucking Hardcock Stadium for their NFC or AFC Championship game because number 1, yeah, their fans might show out for that one, but that building always gets raided. Number 1, number 2, it's warm as shit.
Yeah.
Guys you're gonna get really good. As long as it doesn't rain, you're gonna get
fucking
the team at its best that
monsoon
day.
over there.
And guys are gonna be licking their chops to do that. Where if you're going into Arrowhead or you're going into M&T Bank Stadium, we better get ready for a
Listen,
fucking dogfight.
Baltimore is very fucking cold that time of the year.
Of course, yeah,
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
of course,
The only place that's worse to go to is Green Bay.
Thankfully, nobody will be
yeah.
going.
And everyone
vote for
and
you.
they fucking choke there all the time too. They've had that game and they've choked many a time. So I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's why fat fuck Mike McCarthy's in Dallas.
Do we have anything to add?
We did end up hitting 2 hours.
We hit 2 hours.
I guess we're not talking about college football this week. Huh?
No. We'll get good college football talking closer to the games on a Wednesday.
Yeah, we don't have games till New Year's Eve.
on
New
a
Year's?
Wednesday. We'll do it.
Okay.
Do you have anything to add?
No.
Not a thing.
Nothing.
0.
Nothing
Nothing.
to add.
Zolo, anything to add?
I'm hungry.
Bruce?
Gabagool.
Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. Make sure to follow our socials, Instagram and Twitter at Tip Balls, TikTok at Tip Balls Podcast. Make sure, if you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple Music, to check us out on YouTube. Remember to subscribe and ring the bell so you're notified when we go live. We will be back next Monday, Wednesday, and Friday between 4:30 and 5. Join us in the chat because it's always a great time. Thank you so much for listening. You will hear from us on Monday.